They did not expect Barty to be this strong, to be able to anger the fierce and cruel Jacob to such an extent. It was simply inconceivable. This brat was crazy. He had actually offended Supervisor Jacob. If Jacob wanted to make things difficult for this brat, he would definitely make things difficult for him until he died. All right, I won't talk to you about this anymore. I still have things to do, so go away. Xia Ping waved his hand impatiently, as if he was shooing away a fly. Fuck this bastard. Jacob was so angry that he almost fainted. Looking at this brat's attitude, if it was someone who did not know him, they would think he was this brat's lackey, who could be dismissed with a wave of his hand. He suppressed his anger and said, Barty, don't be too arrogant. Don't think that you can do whatever you want in the illusory realm, just because you've advanced to the reverting realm. If you can't complete the mission, you'll be demoted from an aristocrat to a commoner next year. Don't you know that? There are only 2 months left until the end of the mission. Let's see what you can do. Isn't there only 2 months left? This is nothing. Don't mention 100 million. Even a billion would be child's play. Xia Ping expressed that this was not a big problem, and was very calm. Brag, keep bragging. Do you really think universe dollars isn't money? Jacob was so angry that he laughed. If it was a robbery, with his strength, he could easily get 1 billion universe dollars. But this was not a robbery mission. It was a fraud mission, and he was not allowed to use any methods. Even if it was him, it would be impossible to get 100 million in 2 months, let alone 1 billion. Even robbing a bank might not be able to get that much money. The other illusory tribe members also looked at Xia Ping with disdain. They felt that this brat was crazy beyond belief. His tone was so arrogant that he did not even know how much he was worth. You're not angry that you're fat, right? Do you want to make a bet? I, Barty, can not only get 100 million in 2 months, but I can even get more than 1 billion? Xia Ping raised an eyebrow and said calmly, If I can do that, you'll eat a ton of shit immediately and lose all your assets. Do you dare to bet? What? Everyone was shocked. If they lost this bet, not only would they lose all their assets, but they would also have to eat a ton of shit. This was such a vicious bet, yet this brat was so confident. For a moment even Jacob was shocked. He did not expect this brat to be so ruthless. Cowardly bandit. Look at you, you don't dare. Xia Ping said lazily. If you don't dare to bet, then forget it. I won't force you. Pretend I didn't say anything. Wait, who said I don't dare to bet? If you want to eat shit and lose all your assets, then I have no reason not to fulfill your wish. Sign the illusory contract immediately, and let the ancestors bear witness. Hearing this, Jacob was enraged. He was completely enraged and agreed right there, and then. This was because this was a bet that he would definitely win. If he did not dare to bet, then he would be stupid. Plus, he was afraid that Barty would go back on his word. So he immediately took out an illusory contract and wanted to sign it with Xia Ping. Oh my god, he's serious. Many of the illusory tribe members were shocked. The illusory contract was the most sacred contract among the illusory tribe. It was extremely binding, and once it was confirmed, even a saint could not violate it. If one dared to violate it, their entire cultivation would be destroyed, and they would be expelled from the illusory world. They could even be executed. Therefore, no one from the illusory tribe dared to violate the contract. Interesting. There is a contract like this. If you want to sign it, then sign it. Xia Ping did not care. Even if he lost the competition, he would let the real Barty appear. After all, the real Barty would eat it, so he would not lose anything. With a whoosh, he immediately signed the contract with Jacob. Good, very good. In 2 months, I will see you become a real pauper and the laughingstock of the illusory tribe. Chapter 2149. Crazy. Barty is completely crazy. He even dared to sign a contract with Supervisor Jacob. I wonder what he was thinking. Is there a hole in his brain? There must be a hole, and it's the kind that got caught in the door. If he loses, not only will he go bankrupt, but his name will also go down in history. How are we supposed to eat a ton of shit? Mix it with rice. But Barty might not lose. Bullshit. He swindled 1 billion universe dollars in 2 months. Do you really think money is so easy to earn? That's true. If Barty wanted to bet with me, I would have done the same. It's a bet I'll win for sure. If you have so much money, you might as well give it to me. It's all gone to waste. Barty is such an idiot. Inside the mission hall, many of the illusory people were talking among themselves, dumbfounded. They never thought Barty would agree to such a stupid bet. They all thought the kid's brain was damaged. They all looked at Xiaoping with pity. Xiaoping ignored the voices of the others and left the mission hall. But as soon as he left the mission hall, a figure appeared in front of him. It was a woman very mature. She looked to be in her 30s, and she exuded a powerful tribulation thunder aura. She was almost as strong as Supervisor Jacob. Barty, are you crazy? Why did you sign a contract like this with Jacob? Do you think your fate isn't miserable enough? Or do you want to kill yourself? The woman in blue frowned at Xiaoping. Her attitude was very dissatisfied. Who are you? Xiaoping raised an eyebrow. Who am I? I haven't seen you for a while. And you even forgot Emma. You really have a short memory. The woman in blue was so angry that she laughed and glared at Xiaoping. Huh. Xiaoping received the information Barty sent him about Emma. Emma was an elder of the Lawrence family, and her power was at the peak of the Tribulation Thunder realm. Barty was also a child of a small family under the Lawrence family. In fact, he was under the Lawrence family's jurisdiction. In the illusory race, there was basically a large family that ruled over each other. An immortal saint could establish a family and become a faction. Many small clans would attach themselves to these sage clans and obtain all sorts of resources. The Lawrence family was founded by a female immortal sage, Sophia. Emma was an elder of the Lawrence family. She had crossed paths with Barty before and could be considered his immediate superior. Oh, it's Elder Emma. What business do you have with me? Xiaoping asked as if he had remembered something. You still dare to ask me what's the matter? Do you know how much trouble your actions will bring to the Lawrence family? It doesn't matter if you lose the contract, but it will bring shame to the entire Lawrence family because of this matter. The blue-clothed Emma said angrily. How do you know that I will lose? So what if I win? Will you sleep with me for a night? Xiaoping smiled at Emma, the woman in blue. You. Emma was so angry that her face turned red. Barty, you're so glib-tongued now that you even dare to tease me. She had never imagined that this brat would dare to tease her, and even want to sleep with her. He was simply audacious to the extreme. Could it be that his mentality had swelled to such an extent just because his strength had improved? Forget it. Sleep with me. I'm scared too. After all, you're an old woman who has lived for thousands of years. You're like a wolf or a tiger. Xiaoping waved his hand. Emma was fuming. Shut up. Who are you calling an old woman? I dare you to say it again. She wanted nothing more than to hammer this bastard. What the hell was he talking about? Xiaoping didn't continue to pay attention to her. He walked away from her and headed for the transportation matrix near the Hall of Mission. This transportation matrix could transport people to various places in the illusion realm. It was like public transportation. Whoosh! He entered the transportation matrix, and it immediately shook. The stars moved, and Xiaoping was immediately transported to another place. It was a very famous city in the illusion realm. At the same time, it was a city ruled by the Lawrence family, Lawrence City. It covered an area of 1 million square kilometers, and was very famous for commerce, culture, and tourism. Barty's home was in a high-rise apartment in the center of Lawrence City. It was on the 45th floor, and it was a duplex house with an area of 300 square meters. After all, he was a minor noble among the illusion tribe. It was normal for him to have a house. He didn't think that Emma would still chase after him from the Hall of Mission. She looked like a ghost. Barty, what method do you have to win the bet? Emma looked at Xiaoping with a burning gaze. She felt that Barty was full of confidence. He didn't feel discouraged at all, and seemed to have a card up his sleeve. She suddenly felt that this Barty seemed to have a few tricks up his sleeve. Perhaps he wasn't acting rashly, but had his own plans. This has nothing to do with you, Xiaoping said lazily. How could it have nothing to do with me? I'm an elder of the Lawrence family. Each and every one of your actions has a great impact on the Lawrence family. I have to know clearly what you want to do. Do you have any way to deal with it? Could it be that you want to cheat? But under the contract of the illusion tribe, you can't cheat at all? Emma was very confused. What's the use of telling you? What can you do to help? Don't make trouble for me. Xiaoping waved his hand as if he was shooing away a fly. Humph. I am an elder of the Lawrence family, and I am very familiar with Patriarch Sophia. I have some faith. If you make a contribution this time, it's not like you can't advance further in the Lawrence family and obtain a high position, Emma said in a low voice. So you are saying that you have a lot of power. Can you make me a guard of the treasury? Xiaoping's heart stirred. Perhaps he could find a way from Emma. After all, his goal in entering the illusion realm was to get close to the illusion tribe's treasury and make a fortune. Become a guard of the treasury? I didn't expect you to have such an idea, but I have to say, this is indeed a lucrative position. Many people are fighting for it. If you make a contribution and get Patriarch Sophia's appreciation, it's not impossible for you to get this position. Emma was full of confidence. Interesting. In that case, follow me home. You can watch from the side what I want to do. Xiaoping flew toward Barty's house, his speed neither fast nor slow. Humph. I want to see what tricks you have up your sleeves. Emma wasn't afraid of being alone with Barty in a room. She was a Thunder Retribution Realm expert, and she didn't know how much stronger she was than Barty. If this kid dared to do anything, tearing him apart would be a light punishment. Moreover, she was also very curious about what this brat was planning. It was as if this bet was nothing in front of this brat, as if it was something that could be easily accomplished. Chapter 2150. Barty's home. What are you planning to do? Lovema asked curiously. If he wanted to complete the mission, he would have to leave the fantasy world. But not only did this guy not leave, he even returned to his home, looking like he was giving up on the bet. You'll know when you see it. Swindling money is a very simple matter, because there are many people with low IQ in this universe. Xiaoping said carelessly. Keep bragging. Lovema looked at Xiaoping with disdain. This bastard was getting better and better at bragging. If money was so easy to swindle, there wouldn't be so many paupers in this world. Xiaoping ignored Lovema and logged into the universe virtual network, starting to make an advertisement. Lovema approached, wanting to know what Xiaoping was doing. When she saw the content of the advertisement, her face darkened. Because it said, the title is paying a lot of money for a child. I am Tsuehua Marion Monroe, 300 years old this year, mistress, married an old rich businessman. But because the rich businessman is infertile, he has no children and no one to inherit his vast assets. To avoid property disputes,
To be honest,
after the rich
he had almost wanted
businessman's
to call
death,
them back then.
I am looking for
not
a
for the
healthy
money,
young man, but
to be a
because he wanted to
surrogate
help
mother.
others and
No
save
race,
people
no
from the
age.
sea of
If the
suffering.
call is
This was
satisfactory,
the traditional
I will
virtue of
remit
the
a
Chinese
deposit of
people.
30 million.
As for the beautiful
arrange
woman
accommodation
picture above,
and food.
he naturally
After
had
the
Corinne
deed is done,
synthesize it.
I will
He had
reward you
gathered the
100
advantages
million
of
universe
most of the
dollars.
beautiful women
Solemnly
in the universe.
stated,
To
this
create
matter
a
needs
beautiful
to be
woman
kept
picture,
confidential,
which was
It does not
guaranteed to
involve
attract
or
a lot
affect
of
the
people's
family.
attention.
I refuse
At
to
the
play
thought
games.
of this,
If you are
Xiaoping
not
ignored
sincere,
Emma and
please call
immediately
this number
posted
to
the
contact me.
advertisement. There was
At
a
the
note
same
below
time,
the advertisement.
He spent 10 million
This
universe
advertisement
credits
has
to
been
be represented
represented
by
by
integrity
integrity
law
law
firm.
websites,
Miss
and pop-up
Tsuehua has
windows
already
to
paid
countless
300
users.
million
You're
universe
crazy.
dollars as a
You spent
deposit.
$10 million
If
on
there is a breach
advertising
of
just to get a
contract,
child.
integrity
What are
law
you trying
firm
to
will
do?
bear the responsibility
Lovema
and
yelled.
compensate
She
for
felt
it.
that this guy
At
was
the same
wasting his
time,
money. There was a
she could
picture
not
of a
understand
prostitute.
such a prodigal
She had a
behavior.
voluptuous figure.
If he had a
and
lot
looked
of money,
very pitiful.
why didn't he give
One
it to
look,
her?
and you could
She
tell
looked
she
at
was a
Xiaoping
beauty who
more and
often
more
caused
like she was
trouble.
looking at an
It
idiot.
made men's blood boil.
As the saying goes,
She was
money
the
is
kind
power.
with 3,000
In
men.
an instant,
Even if
this
they didn't
pop-up
need money,
advertisement was
they
seen
still
by
wanted to
countless
spend the night
virtual
with
network
her.
users,
Paying a lot
and
of
it
money
caused
for
1,000
a child.
ripples.
You're a man.
That was because
paying
this
a lot of money
advertisement
for a
was
child
really too unique.
Lovema was
First of all,
dumbfounded.
no one
100
had ever
million?
advertised
This
to
guy
get a
was
child.
completely crazy.
Second, the
In
bounty
this
amount was
technological
frightening.
age, it was as
so
high
hard
as
to get a
100
child?
million universe
Also,
credits.
what was up with this
Finally,
woman's
the person
picture?
who posted the
Where did
bounty
he find
was
this
actually
vixen?
a rich woman.
What do you know?
And she was so
Xiaoping
beautiful
looked
that
at
she was
Lovema
bubbling.
with disdain.
This alarmed
Paying a lot
countless
of money
people.
for a child
Fuck
was
crazy,
a classic
really
trick
crazy.
in his previous
There's
world.
actually a rich
Basically,
woman who's
there were
willing
very
to spend
few
a lot
places
of money
that
to
did not
get a
have
child.
small advertisements.
She even put up a
That
bounty
was
of
because it was
100
a
million,
classic scam
regardless
that combined
of race
greed
or
and
age.
lust.
As long as
attracting
the child
countless
is healthy,
hot-headed men to fall for
someone
it.
saw this advertisement and was stunned. He had never thought that there would be such an advertisement in the universe. Spending 100 million to get a child. 100 million, how long would that take? It would take countless years to buy 10 steamed buns a day. Many people were immediately alarmed by this advertisement. Websites of all sizes spread like a plague. Countless netizens were discussing this advertisement that had suddenly appeared. This was like viral marketing. Fuck, a bounty of 100 million. How is this a large sum of money to get a child? It's clearly looking for a boy. This rich woman is lonely and wants to find a man. She wants to have 3,000 men. Someone shouted. What he saw wasn't a large sum of money to get a child, but a rich woman looking for a man to sleep with. The morals of the world are degenerating day by day. People aren't like the old days. Why have women become like this? They actually put up a bounty on the internet to find a man. How shameless can they be? Isn't this making her husband a cuckold in front of everyone? Some people were filled with righteous indignation. Everyone, don't fall for it. How can there be such a good thing in this world? Look at this rich woman's chest, her legs, her waist, her looks. Does she look like she's lacking men? Some people felt that this advertisement was very suspicious and advised everyone not to act rashly and fall for it. How could such a beautiful woman need a man and a large sum of money to get a child? No matter how they looked at it, it was very abnormal. That's impossible. Just this advertisement alone has spread so far and cost at least 10 million. Who would have so much money to do such a scam? Isn't this bullshit? Moreover, there's some integrity law firm as a guarantee. If it's fake, we can still get compensation. No matter how you look at it, we won't lose out. Right, that integrity law firm. Just by looking at its name, you can tell that it's trustworthy. No matter what, as men, there's no reason for us to lose out. Everyone discussed animatedly. They also felt that this matter was a little suspicious. However, no matter how they thought about it, they didn't feel that there was anything about this advertisement that would make them lose out. Could it be that the beautiful rich woman wanted to scam them? If that was the case, they would be very happy and couldn't ask for more. A group of people laughed sinisterly, as if they could see the rich woman lying in their arms. Right, this rich woman is vicious. Everyone, don't fall for it. Someone else shouted. In fact, I can see the evil intentions of this advertisement immediately. It's obvious that she wants to use money and beauty to corrode our men's fighting spirit. She wants us to sink into a sea of gentleness and be unable to extricate ourselves. She wants us to be decadent for the rest of our lives and become a gigolo that depends on a rich woman. Oh right, I suddenly remembered that I have something to do. I won't accompany you guys to chat. Fuck slut. You're just a homebody who plays games online all day. What the fuck do you have to do now? You're definitely going to call a rich woman. Someone cursed loudly, as if he was very familiar with that kid. It's none of your business. I don't want to work hard anymore. I want to find a rich woman to support me. Am I wrong? That person said disdainfully. Chapter 2151. Shameless, a group of good-for-nothings. Someone was filled with righteous indignation. As a man, you should work hard and not engage in these crooked ways. What kind of ability is it to be raised by a rich woman? Of course, the reason why I want to make this call is not because of the money, but mainly because I want to help others. Because a rich woman like her has everything, but her husband is incompetent, and she is very lonely. I can't bear to see a woman lonely and suffering, so I want to help her. As for money and so on, let fate decide. Fuck you, sanctimonious bitch. You speak in such a dignified manner, but you have taken a fancy to the beauty of a rich woman. Many people despised him. To be honest, the beauty of the rich woman in the photo was really amazing. If it was released, she would be a princess of a royal family, or a saintess of a major sect. She was the kind of beautiful goddess-like figure. Such a goddess could not be picked up by them with money, but now there was actually a reward of 100 million to ask for a child. This was simply a once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. It was simply a pie falling from the sky, even if it was not for 100 million. Just to get intimate with her, they had to make this call. Of course, with so many people talking and not being moved, there were also many people who had doubts in their hearts. However, there were also many people who were moved and had strong motivation. Immediately, many people called this number to make contact. Didi. Not long after, thousands of calls came in. If it was in ancient times, This would certainly be busy, but with an artificial intelligence like Corinne in this place, it was easy to answer tens of thousands of calls at the same time. Not to mention tens of thousands of calls. Even millions of calls were just child's play. Hello, is this Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? I am strong. And that thing's specialty is especially in line with your requirements. Can you hire me? Moreover, my price is not high. It doesn't need 100 million, 50 million is also fine. Someone immediately called in an attempt to get rich overnight, or even get both money and beauty. Hello, this is lawyer Dadong of the Integrity Law Firm. What can I help you with? Xiaoping replied. Why not Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? Where is the rich woman? Where did the rich woman go? Let her come out to answer the phone. That person was immediately displeased. I'm sorry, Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe has entrusted this matter to our Integrity Law Firm. If you have anything, you can discuss it with us. If you pass the verification, you will definitely be able to see Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe. Xiaoping said. So that's how it is. If that's the case, let's hurry up and pass. I feel that I'm very suitable for Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe's conditions. It's definitely going to be me, cried the man trying to pass at once. It's like this. Although Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe spent a lot of money to get a child, she also hoped to give birth to a healthy baby. So she entrusted us to do a health check on you. This is not too much, Xiaoping said. It's not too much, not at all. I understand your concerns very well. If there's any hereditary disease, it's indeed not a very good thing. In fact, I've had a physical examination at the hospital before, and I guarantee that there's nothing wrong with my body, and there's no history of hereditary diseases in my family. That person was full of confidence, expressing that his genes were absolutely good. Well, it's not up to you to say it yourself. We still need professionals to check it to be sure. After all, some of them may be falsifying, Xiaoping said with a serious face. Indeed, this is not impossible, but how should you check my body? Asked the man. This is simple. Just do a health check directly on the virtual network, Xiaoping said. However, because many professional equipment and many medical experts are needed to carry out the measurement, I'm afraid you'll have to pay 10,000 universe dollars as a fee for the physical examination. What? I still need to pay for this? The man was shocked. He didn't expect such a thing to happen. What kind of medical examination fee did he need to pay? This is a matter of course, Xiaoping said matter-of-factly. Do you think we don't need money for the physical examination? There's so much specialized equipment, and so many doctors from famous families. That rich woman won't spend this kind of money. To tell you the truth, $10,000 is nothing. If you pass the examination, you'll get 100 million. Maybe you'll even get both money and sex. This is a profitable business. But isn't $10,000 too much for the physical examination fee? The man hesitated for a moment, still feeling a little pained. 10,000 universe dollars was not a small amount. Too much? Then forget it. If you can't even afford this little money, how can you be worthy of Miss Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? You must be a poor man with a genetic disease. That's it. I'm still a little busy. I have to receive the next person. Goodbye. Xiaoping didn't waste any time, and wanted to hang up the phone. He knew that he wanted to cheat. He didn't give the other party time to think at all, and ended the battle quickly. Otherwise, when the other party came back to his senses, something fishy would definitely happen. Moreover, if the other party really discovered something, it proved that the other party was a smart person. Continuing to cheat would not gain anything. Immediately hanging up the phone would save time and effort. After all, a liar would only deceive fools with low IQs. There was no need to deceive people with high IQs and vigilance. This was the so-called cost of a liar. Hearing this, the man became anxious. He felt that if he hung up the phone, he might miss out on 100 million. He didn't dare to bargain and immediately shouted, "Okay, it's only 10,000 universe dollars. I'll pay." He felt that if he didn't make a small fortune, he wouldn't make a big fortune. This was just an advance investment. Moreover, if he went to a hospital outside for a physical examination, the amount would probably be a considerable figure. Very good. My bank account number is XXXX. You can transfer the money over. We'll arrange for your physical examination soon. Xiaoping said a bank account number. Okay, I'll do it now. The man was very excited. In one breath, he immediately transferred the money over. Right, when will my examination start? We still need to mobilize manpower and all kinds of equipment. 3 days. After 3 days, we'll arrange for a unified examination. Xiaoping casually set a date. Anyway, after hanging up the phone, they would not see each other again. Okay, then see you in 3 days. The man was extremely excited. His face was flushed. He felt that the beautiful super-rich woman seemed to be taking off her clothes and lying on the bed with a charming face waiting for him. There was also 100 million waving at him. It wouldn't be long before he could reach the peak of his life and become the richest man in the universe. He might even be able to take the opportunity to capture the heart of the rich woman. At the same time, he could seize all the property of the rich man who had been cuckolded by him. Haha, stupid rich man. What's the use of earning so much money all day? If your health isn't good, after you die, you'll still be working for me. The man was proud and felt that he was about to strike it rich. Chapter 2152. Naturally, Xiaoping couldn't deal with so many calls. Fortunately, he had the help of Corinne, an artificial intelligence. After learning Xiaoping's behavior pattern, he could copy it and know how to deal with those people who called. Although there were so many people who called, not every one of them would be fooled, and each of them would pay 10,000 universe dollars for the examination fee. But 1 out of 100 would be considered a profit. Moreover, this was still a pure profit, and there was no need to spend any cost. It could be regarded as a small capital with great profits. Beep beep, phone calls came one after another, and it was simply overwhelming. The effect of this advertisement was so good that it was bursting. Hello, is this Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe? May I ask if the photo is a real person? You haven't altered the photo, right? If it's the wrong version, I won't come. What? You are not Tsuehua Marilyn Monroe, but the integrity law firm in charge of reception. You want me to believe in your integrity, and that you are absolutely not deceiving anyone? Are you kidding me? You actually need a physical examination, and you have to pay 10,000 universe dollars for the physical examination. You must be crazy thinking about money. What? If you don't pay, then get lost. You are not qualified to participate in the selection. So tough, so overbearing. Wait, I'll pay the money, okay? Brother lawyer, don't be angry. I was just joking. If you don't let me pay, I'll be angry with you. Some of these phone calls were curious about whether this advertisement was real or fake, and wanted to call to probe. They were very curious about who had made such a big movement. Some wanted to become rich overnight and obtain 100 million universe dollars. No matter what, once they completed the mission, they would immediately obtain 100 million universe dollars. This was not a small amount, and many people would not be able to earn that much in their entire lives. Some did not do it for money, but to get intimate with a rich woman. They wanted to be kept by a rich woman, because the beauty in the picture was too attractive, and could make countless men kneel under her skirt. In short, there were people with all kinds of purposes. In just one day, Corinne received tens of millions of phone calls. If it was not an artificial intelligence, perhaps it would not be able to handle so many messages at the same time. Among so many people, some did not believe in Corinne, and some could not come up with 10,000 universe dollars. But there was also 1% who believed and chose to pay 10,000 universe dollars as the physical examination fee. In other words, at least 100,000 people had paid 10,000 universe dollars, scamming $1 billion universe dollars in one day. No wonder there were so many swindlers in my previous life. Earning money is just too easy. Seeing this number, Xiaoping couldn't help but sigh. No wonder there were so many swindlers in my previous life. This was because there was no cost at all to publish such an advertisement. All it took was the printing fee, and pasted it on the streets and alleys. However, if 1 or 10 people in the vast sea of people were fooled, they could earn more than 100,000 yuan. If this wasn't a profitable business, what was? Of course, this amount of money was nothing to Xiaoping right now. It was just to complete the mission and gain the recognition of the illusory race's higher-ups. Emma, who was watching from the side, was dumbfounded. Crazy, these people are really crazy. How can they trust you so much and transfer the money over obediently? If Emma hadn't seen this scene with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed such a fact. In just one day, this kid earned $1 billion universe dollars. It was as if it wasn't money, but hell's money. Previously, she was worried that Barty would lose this dating bet. But now that she saw it, how could he lose? He earned $1 billion in one day. Was there still a need to gamble? Victory could be declared right now. Even if she exhausted her imagination, she still couldn't believe that such a thing would actually happen. There was really someone who would cry and shout to send his money over, for fear that others wouldn't want it. If Jacob, the mission hall supervisor, saw this scene, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. This is human nature. Man's greed is boundless. Xiaoping said indifferently. Emma was speechless. In fact, if she was the one who didn't know about this scene, she would probably be fooled because it was too deceptive. Even the other party's payment of 10,000 universe dollars was very legitimate. There was no reason to refuse. After all, who didn't need to undergo a physical examination when praying for a child? Who didn't need a physical examination? What if there was a genetic disease or physical disease? If he refused, it would be his fault. It would be his own fault. Moreover, this was 10,000 universe dollars for a bet of 100 million. Anyone with a little bit of greed wouldn't be able to bear such a YouTube. The first day passed quickly, and on the second day, the number of calls was 10 times more than before. Not only were the humans calling, but there were also many people from other races who called to probe. Such an advertisement had a great attraction to countless poor people. Even on the third day, the number of calls was even more explosive, reaching an unprecedented peak. Even Corinne almost couldn't handle it. It was so explosive that it scared people to death. This was because this matter had extremely enthusiastic responses and replies in all the major forums in the universe. Did you hear? A rich woman advertised, openly looking for a prostitute, offering a reward of 100 million. What? It must be that kind of fat woman. I won't sleep with that kind of person no matter how much money she has. It will leave a psychological shadow. That's right. I will never sell my man's dignity. Shut up. That is not a 300 kilograms fat woman, but a great beauty with a protruding front and a curvaceous back. At first glance, I can tell that she is a vixen, the kind of mistress. She simply makes me feel pity for her. This kind of beauty can support the entire brothel. My God, she is really beautiful. Does such a beauty also want to look for a prostitute? Who knows what these perverted rich women are thinking? Maybe she wants to recruit 3,000 handsome men, just like men, choosing concubines everywhere. Her interests are extremely vile. To tell you the truth, I couldn't stand this temptation, so I directly called her. As a result, the other party told me to take part in a medical examination 3 days later. If I pass the medical examination, I will have the opportunity to get intimate with her. Is it true or false? I am really envious and jealous. Everyone discussed spiritedly. Many people spoke out, and they became even more fanatical. They didn't care whether this matter was true or false, and quickly joined the ranks. My God, this is simply robbery. No, even if it is robbery, it is impossible to earn so much money. Small capital and huge profits are not enough to describe this madness. Emma was thoroughly convinced by Xiaoping. On the first day, he only earned 1 billion, but on the second day, his performance was off the charts, earning no less than 10 billion. On the third day, it was even more frightening, earning 30 billion universe coins. In just 3 days, she felt that this kid's assets were already comparable to that of an ordinary Thunder Retribution Realm expert. She had never seen such a crazy method of making money in her life. Those people were like idiots, constantly transferring their money into Xiaoping's bank account. They were afraid that Xiaoping wouldn't accept it, so they cursed, fearing that they would lose 100 million. Chapter 2153. What do you plan to do next? Love Ma asked. She was already completely convinced. Things had already come to this point, and she had undoubtedly won the bet. That mission hall supervisor Jacob was dead for sure. No one could save him. She calmed down, and was very curious about Barty's actions. What else can I plan? Of course I'll quit while I'm ahead. Are we going to continue? Xiaoping waved his hand. He had already earned so much money, and could complete the mission. If he continued, he would definitely be seen through. A swindler who didn't know when to quit would suffer sooner or later. But won't someone else call? Emma said. Who cares who calls? Turn it off and scrap the phone. Xiaoping indicated that it didn't matter. In the age of the internet, the cost of escaping was very low. As long as he scrapped the phone, no one would be able to find him. I understand. I'll report this to the patriarch. You'll definitely be appreciated by him, Emma said in a low voice. Love Ma said in a low voice. She had already completely trusted Xiaoping, and treated him as a true talent. To be able to do something like this, there probably weren't many in the entire Lawrence family who could compare to Barty. It's no big deal. I'll go report right away and complete the year-end mission. Xiaoping nodded. At this time, the spread of the advertisement was getting more and more heated. It reached almost every corner of the universe, letting many people know about it. We're rich. We're rich this time. Yeah. Once we pass the physical examination, we'll get 100 million. Who knows, we might even get the heart of a rich woman. We'll get both the woman and the money. This is a great opportunity to get rich overnight. But with so many people signing up, we might not have a chance. That depends on your own ability. After all, you need a certain level of strength to get rich overnight. Many people were proud, as if they had struck it rich. They would soon get 100 million. You're just a bunch of vile people who are jealous of our riches. Reach the pinnacle of life. She's a rich woman with an eccentric personality. However, who knows what she's thinking? There were also people who she liked something the feeling of choosing a concubine in public. I think there's something fishy about this. People offering 100 million for a child. It just can't bear to no matter how you look at it, right? Even if you know how to pour cold water here 100 million is too much. If this is true and we've been stopped by you, $1 million is we've lost 100 million yuan. 100 million is too much. Can you compensate us? Also, that's right, that rich woman. This matter has the protection of that honest lawyer. Even if she doesn't use money, with the backing of the law, there's still a bunch of men who want to get intimate with her. We'll know once we call them. How can there be no men who want such a woman? One look, indeed, and you can tell that it's the style of a big family. Be more careful. If you don't investigate, toad jumping on the streets in this world. Did you call and ask? Some people felt that there was something fishy about assumptions here. Perhaps it was a trap. Now
And
so
it was
many
better
people
not
are
to
calling
believe
and
it so
paying to
easily.
do things. Are so many people stupid? Don't talk nonsense here. If you dare to be arrogant again, I'll beat you up until half of your bodies are paralyzed. Hearing this, not only were many people not grateful, but they also weren't convinced. Instead, they started cursing. They felt that these people were simply jealous and had ulterior motives. They were trying to reduce the number of competitors. The group of people was furious. They had kindly reminded those people not to be fooled. They didn't expect that they would come and criticize them. They thought that they were jealous, had ulterior motives, and were jealous of the virtuous. This was simply a dog biting Lu Dongbin. They didn't know what was good for them. For a moment, both sides were in a heated argument. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Many people who had paid for the physical examination finally realized that something was wrong. They realized that the honest lawyer firm and the rich woman didn't send anyone to contact them at all. Even when they called them, they found that the number was already out of service. It had been scrapped. Bastard, what's going on? Why can't I get through to this number? And it's an out-of-service number? Many people discovered something fishy and immediately became anxious. They realized that they couldn't contact the honest lawyer firm. Fuck, where did the honest lawyer firm go? Didn't they say that they were very honest and trustworthy? That they would compensate if there were any problems? Why can't they be contacted? Do you even need to ask? They must have run away. Those bastards are scammers. My God, I paid 10,000 universe dollars for the physical examination. Now it's all gone down the drain. Impossible. How could such a thing happen? I don't believe this is fake. There's a lawyer as a guarantee. How could it be a scam? That's right. Maybe there are too many people calling, causing the phone line to be busy. If we call again, it might get through. Don't scare yourselves. Everyone finally came to their senses. Everyone was panicking and didn't know what to do. Some people still weren't willing to accept the cruel fact that they had been scammed. Many people frantically called the number, but it was of no use. The number had long been scrapped. After calling it, it was busy recording. No one answered. At this time, they finally accepted the fact that they had been scammed and that the scammers had absconded with the money. Otherwise, it was impossible that no one could get through to this number. I've long said that those bastards are scammers, asking for children with a large sum of money, offering a reward of 100 million, and talking about a beautiful rich woman. It's all fake. How can there be such a big pie falling from the sky in this world? Someone said in grief and indignation. Those scammers clearly wanted to cheat us of 10,000 universe dollars for the physical examination. That's why they made up such a big lie. Their goal was to lure us in. He regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. Although he also vaguely felt that there was something wrong with this matter, and was a little skeptical about whether it was true or not. He was blinded by 100 million yuan and a beautiful rich woman. So he hoped that he would get lucky. But now, even the phone couldn't get through. Those scammers had run away. Only then did he truly realize that he had been scammed. Chapter 2154. That's right. Why would such a beautiful rich woman need a lot of money for a child? Just open her legs, and who knows how many men will want to sleep with her. Why would she need to spend 100 million? Isn't that bullshit? There were also some who finally came to a complete realization. Now it sounds better than a song. Why didn't you say it back then? Instead, you ran to make the call first. You were afraid that someone would take your position and couldn't wait to pay the money. Isn't this because I was blinded by lard? If that's the case, I'll be able to get rich overnight. I'll even be able to sleep with a beautiful rich woman and get intimate with her. That group of swindlers made use of our mentality. That's why they dared to set up such a scam. There's no trust between people in this world. Who can I trust? Everyone was filled with grief and anger. They clenched their fists and wanted nothing more than to catch that group of swindlers, beat them up, and dismember them. No one could imagine how angry they were. They had lost all face. Find that group of swindlers, and find that honest law firm. Didn't they say that there was some legal protection, and that they would compensate if there were any problems? Why are they running now? Someone shouted in grief and anger. His face was flushed red. It was obvious that he was furious. Do you even need to ask? That honest law firm is in cahoots with swindlers. I checked carefully just now. There's no such law firm in the universe. It's all made up. In other words, even if we want to find this law firm to ask for compensation, there's no way, because we can't find them in person. Someone gritted his teeth. He realized that this bullshit law firm was a knockoff law firm. It didn't even have an office. It was purely made up. They said it was just an honest law firm. Fuck, this dog was more dishonest than anyone else. Even the name was fake. Shameless swindlers. Give me back my hard-earned money. You cheated me of $10,000. Don't you have PIIs when you give birth? That's $10,000. I worked hard for half a year to save up. Now it's all gone. Boo-hoo. I don't want to play with a rich woman. I don't want 100 million. Hurry up and give me back the medical examination fee. I don't want to play anymore. Me too. Give me back my money. I will never believe these things on the internet in my life. None of them are good. They are all liars. This society is too dark. Call the police. Call the police immediately. Catch those swindlers and make them spit out all the money. It's too late. What's the use of calling the police? Those fucking swindlers have already run away. How can we find them? That's right. Right now, we don't even know his name or what he looks like. How can we catch such a swindler? We don't have any clues. Many of the victims wanted to cry but had no tears. Only now did they realize how big of a mistake they had made. They clearly didn't even know the other party's name, appearance, residence, or background. However, they actually foolishly believed the beautiful words of the swindlers and obediently transferred the money over. There was no doubt about it, nor was there any contract. It was all because of the huge bounty of 100 million and the fact that the beautiful rich woman had blinded them. So they didn't realize that they were in a scam. Greed was the death of a person. After hearing this news, those who felt that there was something fishy about this matter immediately laughed. Haha, I already said that there wouldn't be such a good thing in this world. It's like a pie falling from the sky. A rich woman spending 100 million to beg for a child. Only you could think of such a thing and even believe it. Previously, we kindly advised you not to be scammed. I didn't expect you to call us villains, saying that we were jealous and afraid that you would earn 100 million. Now are you still jealous? There's no cure for stupidity. You can't even see through such a simple scam. I can only say that you deserve to lose money. That's so satisfying. Are you still pretending? Do you still want to get rich overnight? Do you still want to get both the woman and the money? Now it's like drawing water with a sieve. You are simply a joke. Don't always think about getting rich overnight. Money is so easy to earn. How can there be poor people in the world? Everyone was proud and laughed at those who had been scammed. Not only did they not sympathize, but they also hit them when they were down. They felt that these people deserved it. After all, they had warned them before, but not a single person believed them. Instead, they were thought to be jealous and jealous. This made them very angry. Hearing these words, those who had been scammed were even angrier. Their faces were flushed red, but they could not say anything. They were so angry that they hated the scammers even more. Immediately, the phones of the police stations on the nearby planets exploded with calls. They all expressed that they wanted to catch and punish the damned scammers. The police of the major planets also paid great attention to this case. They said that this was an unprecedented scam. The amount of money scammed was very high, and the scope of the scam was very wide. The number of people involved, and the amount was so large that it made people's hair stand on end. Even so, it was still very difficult to solve this case. At this time, the illusion also spread the news. Xiaoping had submitted the mission, indicating that he had completed it completely. Moreover, he had completed it more than expected. What? The scam of using a large sum of money to beg for a child that has been causing a stir on the internet recently was done by Barty? After hearing the news, many people from the Illusion tribe were dumbfounded. That's right. This guy has already gone to the Hall of Missions to submit the mission. Many elders went to investigate and confirmed that it was indeed done by him. I heard that he earned tens of billions. My God, he earned tens of billions? What kind of joke is this? Do you really think money just grows on trees? It's true. The elders also went to investigate. At the time, many of them were green with envy. They simply couldn't believe it. How could they believe it? That's tens of billions. Even the entire net worth of a Thunder Tribulation Realm elder might not be that much. This Barty has really turned things around. Damn Barty, scammer Barty. I was scammed before too. I thought that the large sum of money to beg for a child was real. So I stupidly went to pay up and got scammed of 10,000 universe credits. Shameless Barty, pay me back immediately. No way. You fell for this kind of scam? Aren't you a scammer too? Sigh, it's hard to guard against thieves day and night. Who would have thought that we'd be scammed by our own people? Luckily, the losses weren't that great. Otherwise, I would have wanted to jump off a building. Many people from the Illusion tribe were discussing this matter. They were all very shocked. They had never thought that this scam that shocked the universe was actually done by Barty. Mobile version website. Chapter 2155. By the way, didn't Barty make a bet with Jacob, the supervisor of the mission hall? I heard they even signed a contract with the illusory. Neither side can violate it. Someone suddenly thought of this matter. That's right. Now that you mention it, I also remember. Barty did sign a contract with Jacob. If Barty can't complete the mission, he'll lose all his wealth and have to eat 10 tons of shit. My God. If that's the case, doesn't that mean Jacob lost? Not only will he become a pauper, but he'll also become the laughingstock of the illusory. His name will go down in history. That goes without saying. He swindled tens of billions. If Barty doesn't win, is there any justice in this world? Jacob is so pitiful. Even if he's a Thunder Tribulation Realm powerhouse and has a high status, he can't violate the illusory contract. Otherwise he'll die. Who would have thought Barty would be so cruel? Swindling money is as easy as drinking water. I told you Barty is a dragon among men. He's not an ordinary person. Otherwise he wouldn't have signed such a bet. You guys didn't believe me. That's all in hindsight. Why didn't you say anything before? Now that he's so arrogant, you're bragging here. Many people were discussing this. They were gloating over Jacob's misfortune. Tens of billions, unless Jacob far more than the contract he signed with violate the illusory contract. Now he's a big shot in the magic race. And the higher-ups Jacob would really commit suicide. All right, I won't waste any more words with you. He had lived for so long to the contents of the contract. How could he die so easily? That is worth more than one universe coin will be seized. Jacob was completely finished. He waved his hand. He would become a laughingstock, and the people around him immediately began to seize all of Jacob's assets. In a villa in the illusory realm. No. It was the home of Jacob, for thousands of years, the supervisor of the mission hall. Maybe even tens of thousands of years to accumulate wealth. Many illusory elders had already surrounded the place. There were 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. Jacob was furious. They had laid down an inescapable net, and he wanted to stop prevent Jacob from escaping. The law enforcement elder waved his hand and slapped Jacob. Is there a need for such a big fight? Flew out. Seeing this, turning into Jacob's face turned green. He completely extinguished the thought of escaping from the illusory realm. All of his powers were completely sealed as well. I'm just following orders. He was lying on the ground like a worm, without any strength. It's sacred and inviolable. No. Even Jacob can't violate it. He could only watch helplessly this time as the group of people fulfill your promise even if you die. Even the treasures in his space ring were not spared. A law enforcement elder spoke. This was not as simple as being robbed. His tone was solemn. It was like plucking feathers from a goose. And he was not impartial. Even a screw was spared. That's impossible. Aside from the clothes that little bastard. Everything was taken away. 1 billion so quickly. He felt like his heart was being cut by a knife. Fishy going on. It was as if someone had cut his flesh and blood. Based on that little bastard's all of his years of accumulation. How could he have done such a thing? He was now penniless. Go investigate. Barty, you immediately investigate. You damned little bastard has any signs of cheating. You deserve to be sliced 1,000 times. Jacob was exasperated. You and I are absolutely irreconcilable from the inside out. I won't rest until you die. We didn't find any signs of cheating. Just you wait. He didn't just earn 1 billion. Jacob shouted at the top of his lungs and was extremely savage. His hatred towards Xiaoping had risen to the limit, and he simply wished for nothing more than to annihilate this bastard's entire family and tear him into pieces. Only then would he be able to vent the hatred in his heart. There's still the second part of the contract. If you lose the contract, you must eat a ton of shit. Why don't you complete the contract now? We'll send someone to watch over you. If you don't eat a bite, it won't be considered complete. The law enforcement elder was expressionless as he announced the second part of the contract. Wait, I'm joking about this. Eat a ton of shit. I'll never admit to that. It's ridiculous. I won't eat it even if you beat me to death. I'd rather die than eat something like that. Hearing this, Jacob's face turned green as he panicked. If he could turn back time, he hoped that this would never happen. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never sign such a stupid contract and become a laughingstock for all eternity. But it was too late now. There was no medicine for regret in this world. You have signed the contract. You must complete it even if you die. It's not up to you. This is an iron law. Not even saints can violate it. The law enforcement elder was murderous. Come on, Elder Jacob. Don't worry. We added chili sauce on it. A group of law enforcement officers said. Chili sauce my ass. Do you think you can eat it with chili sauce? Get out of here. Stop. You demons, stop. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat it. Sob. Jacob's face was twisted as he struggled to resist. But it was useless. The law enforcement officers immediately stepped forward and forced the shit in. This scene was simply heartbreaking. After eating a ton of shit, the originally high-spirited and arrogant Jacob's eyes were completely gray. His aura was dispirited as he lay on the ground motionless. He looked as if he had been gang-raped by hundreds of men. He felt like his heart had died. Chapter 2156. Currently, in a luxurious villa in the fantasy realm. Dong. An exquisite glass was smashed on the ground, shattering on the spot. And the owner of the glass cup was Chris. At this time, the injuries on his body were more or less healed, because the family's internal healing pills were pretty good. The problem was that his physical injuries had healed, but his mental injuries hadn't healed at all, because he had been beaten up by Xia Ping in front of the mission hall. And in front of everyone at that. He had become the laughingstock of the family. He was ridiculed by the other direct family members. One had to know that Barty was just a clown for him to amuse himself. But now, Barty had beaten him and his lackeys up, humiliating him. It could be said that he even had the intention to wipe out Xia Ping's entire family. Damn that Barty. That bastard. He actually managed to turn things around, and even won the bet. Chris roared angrily. He was furious to the extreme. Originally, when he heard about the bet between Xia Ping and Jacob, he was overjoyed. He thought that Barty was dead for sure. After this, he would definitely become a pauper. He might even drop from his position as a noble and become an ant-like commoner. When that time came, he could take revenge however he wanted. He could crush Barty to death however he wanted. But before Chris could be happy for a few days, he found out that the kid had actually turned things around. He had swindled Jacob out of tens of billions in one go. He had even made Jacob go bankrupt and suffer heavy losses, turning him into a madman. When he thought about how that clown-like figure from back then had skyrocketed to become a person above all others, and how he would have to look up to him in the future and bow and scrape to him, he couldn't help but feel angry. Boss, we can't let that Barty continue to run wild. One of the lackeys on the side shouted. That bastard had a fortuitous encounter and advanced to the returning truth realm. He became so arrogant that he even beat up someone as honorable as you, boss, without giving you any face. Now he has obtained tens of billions and all the wealth of Jacob, a Thunder Retribution realm powerhouse. This is no less than a heaven-shaking fortuitous encounter. From now on, he will be able to pay it all back. That's right. That's a lot of money. It's billions. Even the most beloved heir of the Leinster family wouldn't have that much money. If he used this money to buy all kinds of pills and spirit herbs, he would be able to advance to the Thunder Tribulation realm and become an elder of our illusion race. If you use it to buy magic treasures, you will be able to arm yourself to the teeth. Damn it! That Barty is really going to turn things around. From now on, we might not even be able to call him Lord Barty anymore. He's high and mighty, and we're no longer on the same level. Many of Barty's lackeys were envious, jealous, and hateful. Before, they had ignored Barty, but in the blink of an eye, they were no longer worthy of him. They were no longer on the same level. They were green with jealousy over Barty's adventures. Shut up. A clown like you wants to soar into the sky and ride on my head from now on? Don't even dream about it. Barty gritted his teeth. But we can't do anything to him. He's now the most popular person in the Lawrence family. Maybe he's even been recognized by the head of the Lawrence family. His rise is inevitable. Some of the lackeys were helpless. Rise? What a joke. He'd have to be alive to do that. Barty clenched his fists with a murderous aura. Many of the lackeys could feel the terrifying murderous intent on Barty's body. It was simply chilling. Barty was like a demon right now. On the other hand, in Barty's home in Lawrence City. Barty, congratulations. You've now become a celebrity in the illusion race. Elder Emma looked at Xiaoping with a complicated expression. She had never thought something like this would happen. After completing the year-end mission and swindling billions of universe dollars, Xiaoping had already become the most popular person in the Lawrence family. Many elders and children of the family wanted to get to know Barty and build a good relationship. Most importantly, this group of people had their eyes on Xiaoping's wealth and wanted a share of it. They all harbored malicious intentions. However, Xiaoping rejected all of their efforts. He refused to answer any calls. Thinking of this, she remembered about Jacob. She couldn't help but remind him. But I'm afraid it's not a good thing to offend Jacob like this. He might take revenge. Although Jacob was now a pauper, even a broken ship had 3 nails. Plus, he was a Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse. It was a relatively simple matter for him to accumulate wealth quickly. Moreover, a crazy Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse was incomparably terrifying. They could do anything. Any junior would feel like sitting on pins and needles when faced with a Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse. What a joke! Do you think that Jacob won't take revenge if I give up that contract? Xiaoping asked in return. Elder Emma was stunned for a moment. That was indeed the case. Jacob was famous for seeking revenge for the smallest grievance. If Barty had lost this bet, he would definitely have been hit while he was down and humiliated to the extreme. Even if Barty gave up the bet, Jacob probably wouldn't feel the slightest bit of gratitude. He might even think that Barty was weak and easy to bully. People were just like that. It's just a small matter. Did you do what I asked you to do? Xiaoping looked at Emma. You want to become a treasury guard? I see. I've already reported this to the family head, Sophia. The family head knows about what you've done recently and is very interested in you. He wants to meet you. Emma said in a low voice. Meet him. Xiaoping frowned. He was still a little afraid of meeting the immortal sage in the illusion race. After all, he wasn't a member of the illusion race. Some of his flaws might be seen through. If possible, he hoped to keep a low profile and quietly steal the treasures from the illusion race's treasury. What? Are you not willing? Don't you know how great of an honor it is for the family head to summon you? If the family head appreciates you, you won't get any benefits. Just a little bit of information, and you'll be able to enjoy it for the rest of your life. Emma was very discontented when she saw Xiaoping's expression. Normally, a member of the Lawrence family would be wild with joy when the patriarch summoned them. How could they be like this guy? He was actually frowning. This was outrageous. Of course not. I was just a little overjoyed and couldn't react in time. If the family head wants to see me, it's naturally my honor. Xiaoping said in a low voice. Humph. That's for the best. Emma snorted. She didn't want to pursue this matter any further. After all, this was only a small matter. Come with me now. The patriarch is already waiting for you at the Lawrence family's headquarters. Don't let the patriarch wait for too long. She waved her hand and let Xiaoping follow her to the core area of the Lawrence family headquarters. Chapter 2157. In the center of Lawrence City stood an ancient castle that occupied a vast area. This was also the core area of the entire Lawrence City. Saint Sophia lived in this place. Apart from that, many important members of the Lawrence family were also scattered in the buildings around the castle. At this moment, Xia Ping entered the ancient castle under Emma's lead. Many of the Lawrence family members saw Xia Ping as soon as he entered. "Look, isn't that Barty? Why is he at our family headquarters? Don't you know what happened recently? Barty did something earth-shattering and earned tens of billions. He's now a popular person among the magic tribe. Even the family had specially summoned him. Damn it. Barty was just a small character before. Anyone could bully him. I didn't think he'd turn things around now. Side comparisons are really infuriating. Why wasn't I chosen by the family head? I'm afraid Barty will really soar to the sky from now on. It's very possible that he'll become an elder of the Lawrence family." Everyone discussed animatedly. They were all envious and jealous. They didn't think that a small character they'd looked down on before would turn things around all of a sudden. He'd grown into a character they could only be jealous of. The change was too fast. Under Emma's lead, Xia Ping soon arrived at a large hall in the deepest part of the ancient castle. There was no one here. It seemed to be the family's forbidden area. No one was allowed to go near it. This was where the family head of the Lawrence family resided. It was where the saints resided. Lord Family Head. At this moment, Emma stood outside the hall and called out. "Emma, is it? Come in now." A voice came from the depths of the hall. With a snap, the doors of the palace opened automatically. Whoosh whoosh. Xia Ping and Emma walked straight in. A woman wearing a long white dress appeared in front of them. Xia Ping's hair stood on end in an instant. He felt a great threat from the woman in the white dress in front of him. Her appearance seemed to be a bit similar to Emma's. However, their strength was completely different. She stood where she was, and her real body seemed to be a blurry shadow. With her body as the center, the space within a radius of 100 meters was distorted. The surrounding space seemed to be collapsing, and countless dimensional spaces were distorted. Without a doubt, this woman was not just an undying saint. Her cultivation base had probably surpassed the undying saint realm and reached the near ancient saint realm. It was said that after reaching the ancient saint realm, they had already begun to comprehend the origin laws of the universe. The difference in strength between them and the immortal saint was like heaven and earth. They were more than 100 times stronger and were not existences that the immortal saint could compare to. Sometimes, out of 100 undying saints, there might not even be one who could reach the near ancient saint realm. This was because to reach this realm, not only did one need a solid foundation, one also needed great comprehension and luck. Xia Ping could defeat, and even use the reincarnation brush and other magic treasures to kill immortal sages. However, he had no confidence in dealing with near ancient sages. If they really fought, Xia Ping would probably be killed in an instant. "Master, be careful. This woman is not simple. She has probably reached the level of an ancient saint." At this time, the Green Ox's voice also came over and warned, to reach the near ancient saint realm, one must completely comprehend the power of the space law. This kind of person is simply a legend. Near ancient sages can merge with the void at any time. Ordinary people cannot attack their bodies at all. A punch will only hit nothingness. After all, this kind of legendary person who has comprehended the space law can travel through countless dimensions with a single thought. They can travel hundreds of light years away and hide in the depths of dimensions. It is impossible to reach them. However, if they attack you, they can kill you with a single punch from countless dimensions away. This kind of difference is so great that it can't be measured by distance. In terms of combat power, undying saints can only carry the shoes of near ancient sages. Space law. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Although he knew that near ancient sages' power was beyond imagination, he did not think that reaching this realm would require one to completely comprehend the space law. Near ancient sages who had comprehended the space law were unimaginably powerful. Patriarch Sophia. This is a clansman of the Lawrence family that I mentioned to you before. He is extremely intelligent and talented. He can be considered a promising talent of the Lawrence family. Emma immediately introduced Xiaoping to the lady in white, Sophia. Interesting. At this time, the woman in white smiled lightly. She seemed to have sensed something. You are only at the returning origin realm, yet you can perceive some of my secrets. It seems that you not only have a great encounter, but you are also overflowing with talent. Her eyes seemed to contain endless mysteries. Like lasers, she looked at Xiaoping from top to bottom. It was as if she could see through every corner of Xiaoping and see through all of his secrets. Nothing could be hidden in front of her. Xiaoping's hair stood up. He felt a great threat. He immediately wanted to counterattack, but he resisted. He was very confident in the power of the formless mask. He would not expose his secrets. Sure enough, after scanning for a while, the woman in white stopped probing. She seemed to think that she already knew Xiaoping like the back of her hand. After all, in her eyes, a mere returning Origin Realm Junior was not worth mentioning. The gap was too big. Probing him was already giving him a lot of face. Barty, I heard that you want to borrow the power of the Lawrence family to obtain the position of Treasury Guard? The woman in white, Sophia, asked. Yes, Patriarch. I heard that this position is a lucrative one. There are many benefits. Xiaoping admitted honestly. Hehe, you are quite direct. You speak without any consideration for benefits. You are a straightforward person. The white-clothed woman, Sophia, chuckled. People like you are either loyal and honest, or you are evil and wicked. But it doesn't matter which kind of person you are. As long as you are a member of the Lawrence family, you will naturally be protected. Her words showed great confidence. No matter what kind of person Barty was, she could control him. Not because of anything else, but because of her invincible strength. She was a sage who had comprehended the law of space. She could easily crush all conspirators. If she was unhappy, she could destroy the enemy. It was as easy as breathing. Of course, the greater the benefits, the greater the price. The woman in white, Sophia, looked at Xiaoping. I heard that you are extremely smart. If you can complete the task I give you, then it is not impossible for you to become a treasury guard. Chapter 2158. Oh, I wonder what you need my help with. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and asked. It's like this, Sophia said in a low voice. I have 3,000 commercial planets under me. I obtain them through some underhanded means. Of course, they have all the necessary procedures and are in line with the laws of various human countries. They are considered legal property. Now, I want to sell all of these planets and exchange them for universe dollars. I want to use them to buy all sorts of universe-grade materials. I plan to forge a high-grade sacred artifact to increase my strength. The problem is that a planet is very expensive. Ordinary people can't afford it. It's also very difficult to find someone to buy it. This matter has been delayed for many years, and I still haven't sold a single planet. Saying this, she paused. Of course, if I'm willing to sell them at a lower price, it's not that I can't find someone to buy them. The problem is that I don't want to suffer such a huge loss and be taken advantage of. So I can't take it anymore. If you can help me solve this problem, it'll be easy for you to become a guard of the treasury or even a supervisor. She said that there were people from powerful organizations who wanted to buy these planets, but they were being forced to sell them at a low price. They were only willing to pay 50% of the market price. This meant that she had suffered a huge loss. If she sold them at such a price, she might not even be able to gather enough money to buy all sorts of materials. Sophia looked at Xiaoping, wanting to know what this kid had in mind. Boom! Before Xiaoping could speak, a spatial ripple appeared in the sky. A figure broke through space and seemed to pass through countless parallel spaces, arriving directly in the sky above the hall. With a whoosh, this person seemed to be fearless. He ignored all the restrictive formations in the castle and appeared in front of Xiaoping and the others. Another near-ancient saint. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He realized that the person who had arrived was a young man dressed in black. He was barehanded and emitted an unparalleled aura. It was unfathomable, and the space around him was distorted. Just this aura and magic power seemed to be stronger than Sophia. Barty, be careful. That's Minerva, the head of the Leinster family. He's a near-ancient sage, and he's no weaker than the head of Sophia. He's also one of the most powerful sages in the illusory tribe. At this time, Emma transmitted her divine sense, informing Xia Ping of this person's identity and background. He absolutely could not offend such a terrifying existence, or else he would die without a doubt. No one would be able to save him. The Leinster family? Could it be the terrifying existence behind Carrie's family? Xia Ping also asked using his divine sense. That's right. That Chris is indeed a member of the Leinster clan, and seems to be one of Minerva's direct descendants. But Saint Minerva is so high up that he naturally wouldn't care about descendants as many as the stars in the sky. You don't have to worry about offending Minerva over such a small matter. You just have to be careful and be respectful. Emma warned. But why do I see that Patriarch Sophia's expression is very ugly, as if she doesn't like this Minerva? Xia Ping could see that Sophia was very displeased with this uninvited guest. It was as if she was trying to keep him at arm's length. That's normal. This Saint Minerva has been drooling over the head of the family for a very long time. He's used all kinds of methods to pursue you, but he's always been rejected by the head of the family. This has caused their relationship to be very bad. But this is the matter of the heads of the family, and it has nothing to do with us. Don't get involved, or you won't even know how you died. Emma let out a secret. Minerva, what do you mean by this? You're barging into my castle again. Are you treating my territory as your home? Sophia looked at Minerva with displeasure. Don't be angry, Sophia. What's our relationship? Isn't your home my home? It's only a matter of time. You don't have to be so distant and calculative. Minerva waved her hand. When I arrived at this castle just now, I seemed to hear you talking to this kid about selling 3,000 planets. What's wrong? You can't handle this matter, and you're asking a kid to help you? Does this kid have some kind of ability? He swept his gaze across like a high and mighty emperor looking down from above. A terrifying divine sense immediately descended on Xia Ping, enveloping him in all directions. Immediately, Xia Ping sensed a powerful divine sense sweeping back and forth across his body. It seemed to see through every corner of his body and expose all his secrets. Stupid. Xia Ping secretly sneered. The ability of the formless mask on his body was unimaginable. Even if an ancient saint personally made a move, he would not be able to detect anything. What could a mere ancient saint do? How could he deal with the miraculous power of a connate treasure? Of course, he still pretended that he did not know anything. After a while, Minerva seemed to be unable to detect anything special about this Xia Ping. He immediately looked down on him, as if he had encountered a weed on the side of the road, and retracted his divine sense. You don't have to care about this matter. Please leave. Sophia gave the order to leave. Sophia, why are you so angry? If you really want to sell those 3,000 planets, why don't you sell them all to me? I can pay 60% of the market price. Minerva stretched out 6 fingers. 60%? Hearing this, Sophia immediately laughed. You want to share? Don't even think about eating a piece of meat from me. Sophia, this price of mine is unprecedented. To be honest, how many people in the entire universe have so much money to completely swallow your 3,000 commercial planets? Minerva said, I've heard a lot of news. Most people are only willing to pay 50% of the market price. I'm offering 60%, which is already letting you earn 10% of the market price. This is a huge benefit. Of course, if you sell them slowly, you might be able to sell them slowly over millions of years. But now you're at a critical moment in refining this high-grade sacred artifact, right? If you miss this opportunity and don't get enough materials, the refining will completely fail. I'm afraid that millions of years of effort will be wasted. Why do you have to be so calculative over this small amount of money? Of course, if you agree to be my woman, dual cultivate with me, and comprehend the great Tao of the universe, then giving you this much money for free is nothing. Get lost. Don't even think about it. I won't agree. Sophia was very angry. She knew that Minerva was taking advantage of her. Sophia, you're actually still being so stubborn. Don't tell me you think that this junior can help you? Minerva's killing intent surged as she looked at Xia Ping with an unfriendly expression. Chapter 2159. Feeling Minerva's murderous aura. Xiaoping only felt that he had suffered an undeserved disaster. This was originally a struggle between two near-ancient saints, but he was involved. However, he still needed Sophia's help, so he couldn't back down here. Thinking of this, Xiaoping stood up and said, "Patriarch Sophia, the condition you just proposed is not impossible to sell 3,000 planets." "What? Do you have a way to do it?" Hearing this, Sophia was taken aback and looked at Xiaoping with a little surprise. If this kid in front of her could do this, she wouldn't need to be threatened by Minerva. "Of course I have a way. It's a piece of cake," Xiaoping said lightly. "A mouthful of nonsense." Minerva snorted coldly. "The younger generation of the Lawrence family is so arrogant now. Do you know what the concept of 3,000 commercial planets is? It's not something an ordinary trash planet can compare to. Each commercial planet is worth at least 10 billion universe credits, and some are even as high as 100 billion universe credits. The value of 3,000 planets adds up to at least 30 trillion universe credits. Even a near-ancient saint can't take out such an amount in a short time. You actually dare to say that you can sell 3,000 planets at the same time without any discount? What a joke. Where can you find a force that can take over? Don't think that you don't have to pay a price for bragging." His body emitted a terrible murderous aura, like an ancient beast, as if it was about to tear the void apart. Boom! Sophia stood in front of Xiaoping, and with a light palm, she instantly repelled the murderous aura. "Minerva, I won't allow you to hurt the children of the Lawrence family in my territory. A near-ancient saint actually wants to attack a junior. You've really gone too far. Don't you have any self-respect?" "Humph," Minerva sneered. "A junior dares to speak nonsense in front of a saint and lie openly. This is a serious crime. If it weren't for you, I would have killed him 8 or 10 times over. Why would I wait until now?" "Lie? Who said I'm lying? If you can't do it, others can't do it. Don't be too arrogant. It's better to be low-key." Xiaoping gave him a sidelong glance. "Arrogant? You're just a little mortal, a dog that's not even worth a fart. How dare you talk to me like that?" Minerva was so angry that he laughed. Ever since he became a saint, most people would only bow down to him and be scared out of their wits by him. He was like an emperor in control of everything, and he would not go back on his word. It had been a long time since someone dared to talk to him like this. However, this ant, who was not even worth a fart, actually dared to make a fuss here, and even dared to say that he was arrogant. He simply did not know how to write the word death. At this moment, he felt that his chest was filled with terrifying flames of rage that would erupt at any moment. He wished for nothing more than to slap the brat in front of him to death. "Don't talk nonsense. If you really have the guts, sign a contract with me," Xiaoping said indifferently. "If I can sell these 3,000 planets at the market price and win this contract, you will immediately go bankrupt and have to hand over all your assets. If I can't do it, I'll immediately die as an apology. Do you dare to make a contract with me?" He directly forced her to abdicate. "How dare an ant like you talk to me like this? Who do you think you are?" Minerva was enraged. He had never been so angry in his life. He wanted to immediately slap this brat to death. This piece of trash that was like an ant thought that he was qualified to make a contract with him. It was simply wishful thinking. However, Sophia, who was next to him, was glaring like a tiger watching its prey. She emitted a faintly discernible aura, as if she would immediately stop him if he dared to make a move. She would absolutely not give him the chance to do so. "Minerva, what do you think? Do you dare to make a bet with a disciple of the Lawrence family?" Sophia looked at Minerva with a smile that was not a smile. What do you think my identity is? And what do you think this brat's identity is? Just based on what qualifications he has to make a bet with me? What does his life count for?" Minerva sneered, disdainful of this so-called bet. "Sophia, since you are not willing to agree, then I will not force you. I want to see if this brat really has this kind of ability. There will come a time when you need to beg me. At that time, I'm afraid the price will not be this. Think about it carefully." After throwing down this sentence, Minerva looked at Xiaoping coldly, then turned around and left. With a whoosh, he traveled through the void, and with a few leaps, he left the Lawrence family's ancient castle. But everyone knew that Xia Ping had completely angered Minerva and triggered a great killing intent from Minerva. Barty, your courage is not bad. You actually dared to offend a near-ancient saint like Minerva. Even when I was young, I definitely did not have such courage. Sophia looked at Xia Ping with admiration. Don't worry, as long as I am here, that Minerva will not dare to make a move against you. But I am not sure about the others, so be careful. She indicated that she could stop Minerva. But as a near-ancient saint, if Minerva wanted to kill a junior in the returning truth realm, she had many ways to do so. With a casual order, who knew how many people would want to kill Xia Ping and win Minerva's favor? Emma looked at Xia Ping speechless. She knew that this guy was bold and had no scruples, but she did not expect him to be this bold. He actually dared to talk back to a near-ancient saint. He must be tired of living. If she had known that something like this would happen, she definitely would not have brought this guy to the Lawrence castle right now. Now he had offended Minerva, and his little life was frozen in water. Understood, master. Xia Ping nodded. He also felt Minerva's killing intent, but he was skilled and bold, and he had many tricks up his sleeve. Even if Minerva really did make a move, he had a way to escape. So naturally he was not afraid. But was what you said just now true? Do you really have a way to sell 3,000 planets at the market price? This is not a joke. Don't try to fool me in front of my face. Sophia stared at Xia Ping, a hint of coldness on her face, as if warning Xia Ping not to lie to her. Of course I am not fooling you, master. I do have a way. Just leave this matter to me. Xia Ping faintly said, confident. All right, then I will leave this matter to you. I don't look at the process, only the result. Oh yes, here is a talisman. I will give it to you now. Activate this saint-grade talisman at a critical moment. It can save your life. Sophia waved her hand, and suddenly a golden talisman flew into Xia Ping's hand. With an unstoppable force, it instantly entered Xia Ping's body, forming a seed, and entered the depths of his dantian. Help! Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, and a cold smile appeared on his lips. He sensed that this talisman was not as simple as saving his life. At the same time, it also contained the intention of monitoring him. It could monitor his every move at all times. If Sophia wanted to, she could even detonate this talisman and kill him. As expected, these saints of the illusion tribe were not good people. None of them were good people. However, he did not show his emotions, pretending not to know the function of this saint-grade talisman. He still needed to use Sophia's power to help him obtain the sound stone. For now, he would bear with her for a while. Once he achieved his goal, there would be no need to bear with her anymore. Chapter 2160. Alright, you're dismissed. After saying this, Sophia waved her hand and allowed Xia Ping to leave the hall. Xia Ping didn't say anything and left immediately. Patriarch, what do you think of this person? Is there any problem? Emma asked. She was still a little suspicious of Xia Ping, feeling that Barty had changed too much from before. They were two completely different people. Of course, she wasn't very familiar with Barty before, and wasn't sure if he was hiding his strength and biding his time, or if that was his true nature. So it was only a suspicion. There's no problem. He's indeed of the Lawrence family's blood. This kid is a little smart. With some training, he might be a pillar of the Lawrence family. Give him some serious advice, and don't let him take the wrong path. Sophia said in a low voice. What about the 3,000 planets? Emma looked at Sophia. Leave it to him. Since he's so confident, there will be corresponding punishment if he fails. This is the Lawrence family's rule, and the punishment is clear. If there's nothing else, you're dismissed. Sophia said. Yes, Patriarch. Emma nodded, then bade farewell to Patriarch Sophia, and left the palace. At the moment, Xia Ping was waiting for Emma somewhere in the castle. Barty, I'll leave the business of the 3,000 planets to you. If you succeed, then it'll be a piece of cake for you to become a guard of the treasury. If you fail, don't even think about it. Understand? Emma said straightforwardly. It's just a small matter. Xia Ping nodded confidently. How do you want to sell these planets? I believe you know how huge an asset this is. On average, a planet is worth at least 10 billion universe credits. Who can handle such a big deal? Emma was very curious about Xiaoping's plan. She couldn't think of a way to sell these planets, and at the original price, no matter how hard she thought. In fact, if it were that simple, the 3,000 planets would have been sold long ago. It's very simple. Xiaoping smiled slightly. I plan to hold a lucky draw and let countless people participate. The prize is a planet, but only a lucky draw ticket can participate in this lucky draw. One lucky draw ticket is worth 10 universe credits. If it's a planet worth 10 billion universe credits, then we can issue 1 billion tickets and hold a lucky draw. The only person who wins the prize will become the owner of the planet. Try to think about it. With just 10 universe dollars, you actually have a chance to become the owner of a planet. Who wouldn't be tempted? Who wouldn't be willing to do it? Hearing this, Love Ma was instantly stunned. His heart was surging. That was indeed the case. Although 10 billion universe dollars was a lot to one person or a faction, it was only a small amount to the entire universe and the countless people on the planets. If he could sell 1 billion lottery tickets, he would be able to easily recover the cost of a planet. It was a steady profit. She was not worried that no one would buy these lottery tickets. This was because the prize was simply too attractive. Just spending 10 universe credits and having the chance to become the owner of a planet would make anyone's heart palpitate. Even if the chances of winning were low, so low that it made one's hair stand on end, it could not stop ordinary people from trying their luck. If they won, then they would probably be rich. If they didn't win, then it did not matter much. It was only 10 universe credits anyway. It would not be a big deal. It was just a drop in the bucket. However, if they succeeded, then they would reach the heavens in a single step. This way, these planets would even become best-selling goods. They could be sold anytime, anywhere. There would be no way for other factions to lower the price, and they could even take the opportunity to make a huge profit. Sometimes, if one looked at it from another perspective, it would be like the sky and the sea. Barty, you're practically a devil. To think you could even think of such a method. No wonder you're so confident. If you can't sell 3,000 planets with this method, then it would be strange. Love Ma was completely convinced. She was full of admiration. Before she said this plan, she felt that it was extremely difficult, but after saying it out loud, she immediately came to a realization. She now felt that this Barty was simply a devil who could see through people's hearts. Everything seemed to become a piece of cake in his hands. He was simply the evil Barty. Fortunately, Minerva had not made a bet with Barty. Otherwise, Minerva would have been in big trouble. Then I'll leave this matter to you. You decide how to operate it yourself, Xiaoping said calmly. This kind of method was nothing in his previous life. It was just a way to sell lottery tickets. The prize money for each issue was tens of millions, and each ticket was worth $2. The chances of winning were obviously extremely high, almost impossible. Even so, even if everyone knew that it was almost impossible for them to win, it still attracted the attention of countless people. Every issue sold for billions. This was the nature of greed. This kind of business was probably even more profitable than selling drugs. Moreover, it was a business without any capital. Unfortunately, this kind of business could only be controlled by the government. Ordinary people could not get involved at all. However, it was different in this universe. There were no such rules, and no one could monopolize it. Therefore, Xiaoping could do whatever he wanted. What about you? What are you going to do? Love Ma was stunned. She did not expect Barty to not want to participate in the whole process. I'll go into seclusion. I've been in the limelight recently, so there's no need for me to continue doing so. It's fine as long as I have enough merits to become a treasury guard. Anything more is useless to me. In this universe, strength is the most important. Xiaoping clenched his fist. Not bad. It seems that you haven't been blinded by the recent events. You know when to advance and when to retreat. Very good. I'll do this on your behalf. I won't mistreat you. Hearing this, Love Ma suddenly smiled. This Barty was indeed an extremely smart person. He knew when to advance and when to retreat. If Barty's merits continued to grow, who knew how many people would hate him? He was only in the returning truth realm, and he could not withstand the evil intentions coming from all directions. However, she was different. She was in the Thunder Retribution realm. She was an extremely powerful existence in the Lawrence family. No matter how many merits she had, others would not dare to hate her. Moreover, the more merits she had, the more benefits she would receive from the Lawrence family. Therefore, she was extremely eager to obtain great merits. Now Xiaoping had done her a great favor. Thank you, Elder Love Ma. Xiaoping smiled slightly. He naturally knew what Love Ma was thinking. Unfortunately, she did not know that he was a fake. She had no interest in staying in the illusion race. Her only goal was to obtain the Sound Stone. As long as he obtained the Sound Stone, he could immediately leave. There was no need for him to stay in this place. Of course, he would not say this out loud. He still looked like a member of the illusion race. Chapter 2161. Next, under Emma's manipulation, the news that one could become the lord of a planet by spending 10 universe credits in the lottery spread to all corners of the universe. Immediately, it attracted the attention of countless people, and everyone was excited. There was no doubt that this lottery event went very smoothly. The 1 billion lottery tickets for the first planet were sold out in almost an instant, and were easily sold for 10 billion. As for the following 3,000 planets, it was also progressing gradually. It was estimated that it would only take 2 or 3 months to sell them out smoothly, and they might even make a huge profit. Even this matter caused a huge shock among the illusion race. No one had thought that there was such a way to sell planets out. After Minerva, the head of the Leicester family, knew about this, his face became gloomy for a long time. A few ignorant people had provoked him, and he had killed them all, leaving not even their bones behind. His hatred for Xiaoping had deepened. As for Xiaoping, he relied on his identity as a popular person of the Lawrence family to walk around the Lawrence family's territory. No one dared to offend him at this time. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he successfully entered the Lawrence family's library. There were many records of the illusion race's magical powers and secret techniques. Although many magical powers and secret techniques required a certain level to be opened, because of his good relationship with Emma, he had obtained Sophia's tacit approval, which allowed him to smoothly record countless magical powers and secret techniques of the illusion race. These secret techniques were obtained by the illusion race after countless years of accumulation. It was difficult for outsiders to know of their existence, and for countless years, they had never been passed on to outsiders. Among these secret techniques, the most basic and powerful secret technique of the illusion race was the 72 illusionary transformations. Using this magical power and the illusion race's bloodline as the foundation, one could transform into anything in the world and imitate it vividly. Many of the illusion races people used this magical power and secret technique to walk unhindered in the universe. Even if they did all kinds of bad things, they could still transform into other races and escape with ease. Although Xiaoping also had the formless mask and could transform into all kinds of things, he didn't really understand this kind of magical power and couldn't understand the nature of the secret technique. However, after learning the 72 illusionary transformations, Xiaoping also had a deeper understanding of the art of transformation. I see. Xiaoping was suddenly enlightened and activated the 72 transformations illusion. In an instant, countless mysterious energies gathered together in the depths of the void, forming a talisman that looked like a cloud and mist. It was formless, colorless, and traceless, as if it could transform into anything in the world. With a bang, when the transformation talisman fused with his body, he felt that his muscles, bones, and even his blood vessels had undergone incredible changes. He seemed to have a deeper understanding of his own body. In essence, this transformation secret technique was a powerful divine ability to understand and completely control one's own body. In addition to the 72 illusion transformations, Xiaoping also obtained many secret techniques. One of them was called the Infinite Great Void 3000 Clones. It was an extremely powerful escape technique. Once this divine ability was used, it could immediately transform into 3000 clones, and each clone was enough to pass off as the real one. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to find the real one at all. These clones even had spatial abilities and could instantly escape into the depths of the void. It could be said that after mastering this divine ability, it was equivalent to mastering a powerful escape technique. However, learning this divine ability wasn't a simple matter. First, one had to have magic power that was 100 times stronger than ordinary cultivators. Only then could one easily form 3000 clones. Secondly, one had to have a strong understanding of the power of space and easily understand the laws of space. Only then would the clones have the space attribute and be able to absorb space energy. Only by combining the two would one be able to successfully cultivate this divine ability. However, the first threshold alone was enough to prevent 99% of people from dying. The second threshold was even more so. As a result, there were only a few among the illusion race who could learn this divine ability. Fortunately, Xiaoping met these two requirements and easily learned this divine ability. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Xiaoping's thoughts moved, and he immediately split into 3000 clones. Each of the clones filled the surrounding space. They were so densely packed that they even merged into the void. It seemed that as long as he willed it, the 3000 clones could escape at will, and no one would be able to catch up. Moreover, each clone was solid. Without the infernal golden crow's eye, one wouldn't be able to see through the clones. Not a bad escape secret technique. Xiaoping immediately felt very satisfied. With this escape secret technique, he estimated that it would play a huge role at a critical moment. Even if he faced a strong enemy, he would be able to escape easily. Moreover, this secret technique could be used not only for escape, but also in battle. Instantly creating 3000 clones would definitely leave the enemy at a loss. Other than these two secret techniques, he also found many powerful mental secret techniques that were not inferior to the accumulation of the soul race. Because the illusion race didn't just have the ability to transform. At the same time, they were also masters of mental illusion techniques. They could set up illusion array after illusion array to trap the enemy. Some powerful illusion masters could trap countless enemies with just a glance, causing them to fall into the depths of an illusion. One of the more powerful mental secret techniques was the limitless nightmare technique. When this secret technique was cultivated to the extreme, one could instantly pull countless enemies into the nightmare world. Inside, there was a myriad of phenomena. If one couldn't see through it, they wouldn't be able to leave the nightmare world and would be trapped forever. This was somewhat similar to the true solution of illusions. However, the true solution of illusions was the fundamental technique of illusions, while this limitless nightmare technique was a powerful secret technique. It was a unique and powerful illusion technique. Interesting. Xiaoping touched his chin. He felt that this secret technique had benefited him a lot. It was enough to raise his illusion power to a higher level, and he could use the power of his soul more skillfully. In addition, he also found many illusion array formations, such as the gem maze array, the ghost chilling wind array, and so on. They were all extremely powerful illusion array formations. It also greatly improved his knowledge of array formations, allowing him to obtain countless benefits. He had to admit that the greatest benefit of entering the illusion race might not be the sound-grained stones, but the precious knowledge accumulated by the illusion race over countless years. This knowledge should have been learned by the illusion race, but now it was all displayed in front of him. This was probably a huge fortuitous encounter that countless people yearned for. Rumble, as he learned these magical secret techniques, the magic power in Xiaoping's body also rose, naturally advancing. It was more than a level stronger than before, and he was getting closer and closer to the peak of the Thunder Tribulation realm. Vaguely, he felt that he seemed to be getting closer and closer to the Thunder Tribulation. He felt like there was a sword on his back. Chapter 2162. In the blink of an eye, more than a month had passed. During this time, Xiaoping was immersed in learning all kinds of secret techniques of the illusion race. He enjoyed himself so much that he forgot to stop. His cultivation didn't need to work hard on it, so it naturally increased. It was like water flowing into a canal. In fact, when one reached this level of martial arts, even if he did not actively train, the techniques in his body would automatically run, achieving the effect of yin and yang merging. If someone saw Xiaoping now, they would find that Xiaoping's aura had no edges, and had become round. He had reached the realm of returning to the natural state, just like a mortal. This meant that he had completely mastered his surging magic power and divine sense perfectly. Not a single trace of his aura leaked out from his body. No one knew that his body contained a surging, violent energy. Once it exploded, it would be earth-shattering. During this time, the tree race elder Rich still could not find the existence of the tree world. So Xiaoping stayed in the illusion peacefully, and no one disturbed him. But at this time, Emma came to him personally. "Barty, your matter has been settled." After the family leader personally intervened, "The magic race elder has decided to give you a chance to become a treasure house guard," Emma said to Xiaoping. She indicated that the family leader, Sophia, was very satisfied with Xiaoping's plan, because this matter allowed her to gather enough money, and she did not need to care about the other saints, which allowed her to save face. Therefore, Sophia felt that Xiaoping had done a good job, and focused on training him, so she agreed to Xiaoping's request. "A chance? What does that mean?" Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He felt that there might be a twist in this matter. "What are you looking at? It is good to have a chance. After all, this position is a treasure house guard, and the inspection is very strict, and there is a high requirement for strength. If you do not have enough strength, you cannot become a guard," Emma said angrily. "To be honest, with your strength in the returning true realm, you do not have much of a chance. But with the family leader's efforts, and with a lot of contributions, the people over there have agreed to give you a chance. If you pass the trial announced by the treasury guards this time, then you will truly be able to obtain this position." Although that was what she said, she also felt embarrassed. Originally, this matter was in the bag, but now there was a change, because there was someone who didn't want Xiaoping to get this position. However, this was a secret, and he couldn't say it out loud. "Trial? What kind of trial is it?" Xiaoping asked. He was speechless. This group of people was really unreliable. The saint personally told them to go through some bullshit trial. They really didn't give the saint any face. However, this opportunity wasn't bad either. Even if he needed this trial, it didn't matter. With his strength, there was no trial that he couldn't pass. Hunting demons, Emma said in a low voice. She said that the illusion race controlled one of the demon channels in the abyss. That place had become a training ground for many illusion race warriors. It was a training ground for martial arts mystiques. And this trial was for those who wanted to compete for the Treasure House Guard to participate together. As long as they could kill 10 returning nature realm demons, or 1 transcendence realm demon, they would pass the trial. This also proved that they had the strength to become a Treasure House Guard. So that's how it is. Then I understand. When will this trial begin? Xiaoping asked. Tomorrow. Gather in front of the mission hall. There are many people participating. Be careful. Emma said the time and place. It was to gather in front of the mission hall. It seemed that an illusion race elder would be the chief examiner. Okay, I understand. Xiaoping nodded. The next day, Xiaoping went directly to a plaza in front of the mission hall. Suddenly, he saw many illusion race warriors in the plaza. There were men and women, and they stood together neatly. And these people's cultivation was at least in the returning nature realm. Most were in the transcendence realm. There were no Thunder Calamity realm cultivators. After all, after reaching the Thunder Calamity realm, there was no need to be a treasure house guard. They could go to any universe secret realm and take countless treasures back. There was no need to work so hard. This is Chris. All of a sudden, Xiaoping spotted a familiar figure in the crowd. It was Barty's archenemy Chris. In the time that he had not seen this brat, it seemed that his cultivation had increased greatly. His aura was astonishing, and his cultivation had advanced to the returning truth realm, which was already on par with the Barty that Xiaoping had impersonated. Chris obviously noticed Xiaoping's gaze. After he reached the returning nature realm, his face was arrogant. He seemed to be looking down on Xiaoping, saying that he would not lose to anyone. Many people also looked over, obviously noticing Xiaoping. This kid is the Barty that caused a lot of commotion recently. It is said that this kid swindled a few billion and won the bet with Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob, causing Elder Jacob to become a pauper. He must have gone mad from anger. That's right. No way. This kid is so powerful. Doesn't that mean he has a lot of money? If he is so rich, why is he fighting with us for the treasure house guard position? Who says they have too much money? This kid probably has his eyes on this position and wants to get some benefits. No matter what, this is a lucrative job. More money, less work. Indeed, some nobles know that it is very difficult to get this position. No matter how many connections they pull, it is useless. This kid just reached the returning nature realm. This trial is very difficult. We need to kill demons. This guy is not a big threat. There is nothing to fear. Indeed, that's indeed the case. Who knows, if a bunch of fiendish demons charge at him, this kid will be dead. It's good that he is dead. Maybe we can get a share of the treasures he left behind. Everyone discussed animatedly. The way they looked at Xiaoping was very strange and sinister. Their faces were full of malicious intent. If there was a chance, they would not mind killing and robbing. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just then 3 figures flew over from afar. They emitted the powerful aura of the Thunder Calamity realm. They suppressed the void and descended in front of everyone. Everyone quieted down. Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He immediately recognized the 3 people in charge of this trial mission. One of them was his archenemy, the person he had offended, the Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob. He immediately felt a sense of threat. This trial mission might be a big conspiracy. These people did not come with good intentions. No matter how he looked at it, he seemed to have barged into a tiger's den. Please remember this book's domain name. Third Sect Leaders Mobile Version. Chapter 2163. However, Xiaoping was bold and fearless. He was not afraid of such things. If it was the real Barty, he would have been dead by now. At that moment, Mission Hall Supervisor Jacob said, "All of you are here to apply for the position of Treasury Guard. The requirements for this position are very high. First of all, you must be strong. If you don't have extremely strong combat power, you can only dream of becoming a treasury guard. I, Jacob, am one of the chief examiners of this assessment. I am impartial and impartial. Anyone who wants to go through the back door, those idiots who can only rely on their connections to get this opportunity, or those good-for-nothings who want to fish in troubled waters in front of me, will not be able to do so. Remember them all. He glanced at Xiaoping, and a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Of course, on the surface, he was still an impartial examiner, and would not bend the law for personal gain. Chris, who was in the crowd, also sneered. He looked at Xiaoping, as if he was looking at a dead man. All right, I won't say much. Jacob continued. This time, your assessment location is in the Abyss continent. You must clear a sufficient number of abyssal demons to complete the task and pass the assessment. If you can't clear a sufficient number, then it proves that you are not strong enough to take up the position of treasury guard. That means you have failed the assessment. But I have to remind you that the assessment to enter the Abyss world this time is not child's play. Those abyssal demons are extremely powerful, evil, and cruel. If you let your guard down, you will die inside, and no one can save you. Oh right, who wants to quit? It's not too late to do so now. When the thousands of illusion clansmen heard this, their faces showed pride. Since they were able to compete for the position of treasury guard, they naturally knew the content of this assessment. If they were not strong enough, they would have given up long ago. Although this assessment seemed very difficult, as long as they were careful with their strength, they could easily complete it. It was not a mission with 9 out of 10 chances of survival. Supervisor. At this time, Xiaoping stood up and said, I suddenly feel a little uncomfortable. Can I apply to take the assessment again next time? What? Hearing this, the surrounding people looked at him with disdain. Could it be that this kid was afraid of failing the assessment, so he wanted to retreat? As expected, he was a gutless bandit. He did not have any courage. Bullshit, take the test next time? Can you ask your mother to give birth to you later? This has already been decided. How can she change the test date just because of you? Who do you think you are? Even if your father is a saint, he can't change this. Jacob sneered. He could tell at a glance that this brat was timid. Knowing that he had become an examiner, he wanted to retreat. Perhaps he knew that he would harm him during the examination, so he wanted to withdraw from the examination. But how could he let this kid do this? If he really withdrew from the assessment, he didn't know how long it would take for him to find a chance to take revenge. If that's the case, I'll give up. Xiaoping still wanted to say something. But before Xiaoping could say anything, Jacob immediately said, All right, let's cut to the chase. Since you've all agreed to participate in the test, you can teleport to the Abyss continent now. We've already activated the teleportation array. Everyone just stand still. He had no intention of saying any words of rejection to Xiaoping. You've already boarded the pirate ship, and you still want to escape? Do you think it's that easy? Stop your wishful thinking. Rumble. In an instant, a huge teleportation array on the square vibrated and bloomed with dazzling light. It was like a sky full of stars connecting to the Abyss world. The space changed, and everyone present was teleported out of the square. In the next second, they immediately appeared in a pitch-black, gloomy world where they couldn't even see their own fingers. This Abyss world was filled with a dark aura, flowing with abyssal, corrosive, cursed, evil, and other energies. From time to time, angry roars of demons could be heard from afar. All the people of the illusion race instinctively felt waves of fear. This was not a place suitable for ordinary people to stay in. There would be terrifying abyssal demon energy eroding their bodies at all times. If it wasn't for completing the assessment mission, they would definitely not be willing to come to this damned place. It really is the Abyss world. The illusion race actually found a teleportation array that connects to the Abyss world. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Sir Examiner, how can we return to the illusion world after completing the mission? Someone asked. That's simple. All of you have a mysterious imprint left behind by the illusion race. As long as you activate this imprint, you can immediately break through the space and pull you back to the illusion world. Jacob opened his mouth and said, "Of course, if you want to activate this imprint, you must be in an absolutely safe place. If you are in the middle of a battle, you can't activate it. Even if you forcefully activate it, it will be destroyed. Everyone must remember this." Everyone nodded. They indeed saw a mysterious imprint similar to the swastika symbol appear on their wrists. It seemed to contain a tyrannical energy that could connect to the illusion world. "All right, stop talking nonsense. You can leave now and quickly complete the mission. This assessment mission only has 10 days. After this time, it will be considered a failure regardless of whether you kill enough demons or not," Jacob said in a low voice. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Yes, when everyone heard this, they all felt a sense of urgency. They felt that they couldn't waste any more time in this place. They all flew in all directions, wanting to find enough demons to kill. Xiaoping also wanted to choose a direction to leave in. But before he moved, Jacob and the other 3 Lightning Tribulation Realm examiners, as well as a dozen returning Truth Realm and Transcendence Realm cultivators, immediately surrounded him. When the others saw this, they didn't dare to care at all. Instead, they ran as fast as they could. They knew that if they were involved in this matter, they would definitely be killed. In just a few breaths' time, this group of unrelated people disappeared from this place. Only Xiaoping, Jacob, Carrie, and the others were left. In an instant, this place was filled with murderous intent. The cold wind rustled, and everything was silent. "Elder Jacob, what do you want to do?" Xiaoping looked at the group of people surrounding him and said calmly, "Do you want to harm me? Do you know the rules of the illusion race? If you kill each other, you won't gain anything. Don't make a mistake. Please remember this book's domain name." Chapter 2164. Someone to rely on? You make it sound like I don't have anyone to rely on. Hearing this, Jacob laughed. "It's fine if you offended me before. You have Patriarch Lawrence to rely on, so I really couldn't do anything to you for a while. I could only tuck my tail between my legs in front of you, and don't dare to retaliate. But of all the things you should never have done, you actually offended Saint Minerva, causing his plan to fail. You made him so furious that he wanted nothing more than to tear you into pieces and dismember you. Do you understand? He was very arrogant and happy. Originally, with Saint Sophia's support, he didn't dare to act rashly. He was afraid of offending Sophia and being slapped to death. The anger of a saint was not something he could handle. But it was different now. He had Saint Minerva's support, so his guts were boundless. This trial mission was a trap to kill this kid. If he could complete this mission, not only would he be able to take his revenge, but he would also be able to earn the recognition of Saint Minerva and soar to the heavens from then on. Saint Minerva? How did I offend him? I just said a few words to his face, and he's so angry. Are all saints so petty? So petty? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. Shut up. Do you think you can slander Patriarch Minerva's reputation? You won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Just those words alone are enough to kill you 10 times over. Carrie jumped out and angrily scolded Xiaoping. Minerva was the elder patriarch of the Rinster family. He had a high status and was like a god. This bastard dared to slander the elder patriarch and call him petty. He didn't know what was good for him. He wanted to tear this kid to pieces. He really didn't know how to repent even at death's door. This isn't slander, it's the truth. Who doesn't know that Minerva is petty? Xiaoping said indifferently. You still dare to be so arrogant? Do you want to die now? Carrie was furious and flew into a rage. Carrie, don't worry. This kid will die sooner or later. He's right. We illusion people can't kill each other. This is the rule. Even saints can't break it. Jacob waved his hand, stopping Chris. He then looked at Xiaoping and said darkly, I won't kill you myself, in case someone finds out and maliciously attacks you. So, you exposed your own aura and acted as bait in this place to attract the abyss demons and help Kelly complete his mission. It's not like you can't live. Of course, you can't refuse even if you want to. This is an order. Even if you're unwilling, we'll do it ourselves. We'll control your body and make you the bait. He wanted to kill with a borrowed knife. In the abyss world, there were countless demons and dangers everywhere. If he exposed his aura would be as dazzling as the sun in the ghostly abyss world. Once this information was leaked, countless abyssal demons would rush over like moths to a flame. They would tear this person to shreds and kill him. Therefore, many cultivators who entered the abyss world to train were very careful. They concealed their aura for fear of being discovered by those abyss demons. This was the only way to survive. If anyone dared to release their aura unscrupulously in the abyss world, they would be courting death. And it was purely because they had lived for too long. And now, Jacob wanted Xiaoping to release his aura, so that Xiaoping would seek his own death. This way, the ones who killed Xiaoping would not be them, but the abyss demons. No matter what happened in the future, they would be able to extricate themselves from this matter. No one would be able to catch them, and they could also use this opportunity to attract a large number of abyss demons, and help Kelly and the others kill the demons and complete their mission. This was a plan that killed many birds with one stone. That's right. Immediately release your aura, and act as bait for us to attract those stupid abyss demons. Otherwise, I'll make you cry rhythmically. Do you understand? Kelly smiled sinisterly. He was very proud of himself, as though he had Xiaoping in his grasp. Ridiculous. You think you can kill me with this group of people? It's not like I don't have any tricks up my sleeves. With a boom, Xiaoping took out a talisman in an instant. And this talisman was the one that Sophia had given him to protect himself. At the same time, it was a talisman to monitor him. Without saying anything, he immediately activated the talisman and threw it towards this group of people. This talisman released endless golden light. It contained terrifying power that tore through everything and pierced through the void. Saint-grade talisman? Just as Saint Minerva expected. You do indeed have a talisman bestowed upon you by Saint Sophia. This is something that we have already expected. Jacob was calm and composed. That's right. You think you're the only one with a saint-grade talisman, and we don't. Break. Turtle shell talisman. Kelly shouted angrily, and took out a blue talisman from his body. Boom! Suddenly, this blue talisman expanded with the wind, instantly turning into a huge blue turtle shell. It was incomparably thick, and it connected to the earth element power in the depths of the dimension. Layer upon layer, densely packed, it enveloped everyone. Bang bang bang. Beams of golden light bombarded the blue turtle shell, causing banging sounds to ring out. However, not a single beam of golden light was able to pierce through the blue turtle shell. The person inside was also unharmed. Haha, stupid Barty. You don't have a saint-grade talisman now, right? Let's see how you die this time. Kelly was very proud, thinking that victory was already in his grasp. He felt that with the saint-grade talisman in hand, he could even exchange a few blows with the Tribulation Realm powerhouse. Barty, surrender now. Otherwise, I'll make you wish you were dead, Jacob shouted. Jacob shouted. A cold light flashed in his eyes, and a murderous aura surged. You want to make me wish I was dead? I'll let you have the ability first. I'm not going to play with you this time. Sooner or later, we'll settle the score. Just you wait. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiaoping immediately used a magic of the illusory tribe. Infinite Void 3000 clones. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, 3,000 clones of Xiaoping appeared within a radius of 1,000 kilometers. They were densely packed, covering the entire area. Every single one of them emitted a condensed aura that was extremely real. What's going on? Why are there so many Bartys all of a sudden? There are 3,000 of them. Are you kidding me? Kelly was stunned. He didn't expect something like this to happen. From what he could sense, these Bartys seemed to be real. There was nothing strange about them. Impossible. This is our illusory tribe's strongest escape magic. Infinite Void 3000 clones. I wanted to learn it before, but I couldn't. I don't have the talent. Even in the entire illusory tribe, only a few can learn this magic. How did you learn it, kid? How is this possible? I don't believe it. When Jacob and the other Tribulation Realm powerhouses saw this, they immediately screamed. They couldn't believe it at all. They recognized this magic. Infinite Void 3000 clones. Their eyes immediately turned green with jealousy. Chapter 2165. Just you wait. I will come back for revenge. After Xiaoping said this, he immediately left. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The 3,000 clones flew off in all directions, merging into the depths of space. Their speed was unbelievably fast. Everyone could only watch helplessly. These were 3,000 clones, and every one of them was real. They only had a dozen people at most. How could they catch up to 3,000 clones? It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Damn it! Jacob was so angry that he almost died. He had thought that this plan was in the bag, but he did not expect such an unforeseen event to occur. This kid had actually learned the 3,000 infinite Great Void clones. This secret technique was extremely powerful. Once learned, even a Retribution Realm cultivator would not be able to see through it. Maybe if he had some time, he would be able to see through it. After all, his opponent was only a Restoration Realm cultivator. The problem was that not only was it hard to tell the real from the fake, but it was also extremely fast and contained the power of space. Therefore, his opponent did not give him the time to do so. This was why this technique was so powerful. Not only was it hard to tell the real from the fake, but it also had many clones and was extremely fast. When the two were combined, it was practically invincible and impossible to stop. It was known as the #1 escaping technique of the magic. However, the difficulty of cultivating it was also extremely high. In the entire history of the illusion race, there were only a handful of people who were able to perfectly learn this mystic art. In fact, they could be counted on one hand. It's over. It's all over. We let this kid escape and ruin the Elder's plan. What should we do? Everyone's faces were green. They were helpless. If they could not complete the Elder's mission, they would all be heavily punished. Chris and Jacob's faces were also pale. They had no idea what to do. They never thought Barty would have a technique like this. A technique like this. Damn it. That despicable Barty. I didn't think he was so shrewd. After learning this technique, he was still so low-key. I've been tricked. Chris looked up to the sky and howled. He felt extremely humiliated. He thought that Barty had pretended to be useless and let him bully him. In reality, he despised him and mocked him countless times. When he thought about how he had been mocked and mocked for such a long time, and how he had been toyed with like a fool, he was so angry that his pride couldn't accept it at all. A bunch of trash. You can't even handle such a small matter. At that moment, a voice came from the depths of the void, reverberating through the void and reaching the depths of Jacob and the others' consciousness. Saint Minerva. Hearing this, Jacob and the others were so frightened that they collapsed to the ground, trembling uncontrollably. They had not expected Saint Minerva to still be following them and monitoring them at all times. I'm sorry, Saint Minerva. We're useless and incompetent. Jacob and the others knelt down and begged for mercy, not daring to make any excuses. Forget it, I can't blame you for this. I didn't expect this little bastard to be able to learn the 3,000 clones of the infinite void. This kind of talent is top-notch, even in the history of the illusory tribe. With this kind of talent, and even offending me, Minerva, there's no way he can live. Minerva's voice was filled with murderous intent. But I can't do it myself, or I'll be breaking the rules, and will be punished by the Council of Elders. So, I'll only do it once. Judging from his words, he was still quite fearful of the Council of Elders of the illusory tribe, and did not dare to disobey them. I've already left an aura lock on that kid. Follow this aura and chase after him. Even if he uses the 3,000 clones of the infinite void later, he won't be able to hide from you. This time, you must kill him. Otherwise, don't come back. Minerva was filled with murderous intent. Yes, Saint Minerva. Jacob and the others knelt down and thanked him. With a boom, a golden light shot out from the depths of the void and landed on Jacob's hand. Then, the vortex in the depths of the void quickly disappeared as if it had never been there. Chase after him and kill that kid. After obtaining the golden talisman, Jacob was filled with murderous intent as he gritted his teeth. Yes, Cree and the others said angrily. This time, they had completely infuriated Saint Minerva and made him furious. If they still could not complete the mission, they would die without a doubt. Without a doubt, this time if they did not die, it would be that kid. At this moment in Lawrence Castle, Saint Sophia and Emma were together. Master, this trial mission is a trap. Barty will die without a doubt. Why do you still want him to go? Emma looked at Saint Sophia with a puzzled expression. Don't you know the reason? Sophia said calmly, looking at Emma. Because he offended Minerva? Incurred the wrath of Saint Minerva? But it's also because of you, Lord Family Head, that this happened. Emma said. Yes, this happened because of me. But so what? Minerva's wrath needs to be appeased. And this kid's life is a good price to pay. Sophia said mercilessly. But he helped you, Master. Emma could not understand at all. Yes, he helped me, and I am very grateful. But he offended Minerva, and incurred the wrath of the saint. This is his fault, Sophia said calmly. Sophia said calmly. He is a very talented person and very smart. However, people who are too smart always die very quickly, because they know too much. No one can control them. Emma did not know what to say. All right, Emma, there is no need to say such things. Since it has already happened, there is no turning back. That kid is already dead. I have already sensed that a talisman I gave him has disappeared. He was probably besieged and had no choice but to use this talisman. Sophia's eyes flashed as if she had sensed something. But because the abyss world was too far away, she could only sense that the talisman that had a mental connection with her had disappeared. She did not know what had happened in the abyss world. But what if Barty is not dead? Emma asked unwillingly. If he is not dead, it means that the kid is not fated to die. Even Minerva's scheme could not kill him. So he naturally has the right to live. Sophia's expression was very calm. But this way, our relationship with him will become hostile. Emma said. Hostile? Hearing this, Sophia suddenly laughed very loudly. I am a saint, and that kid is just an ant in the returning truth realm. So what if we become hostile? Will he bite me? A chess piece will always be a chess piece. It will never be able to resist the player. So be it. This matter ends here. There is no need to discuss it anymore. Yes, Master. Please remember this book's domain name. Chapter 2166. Whoosh. At that moment, Xia Ping had traveled thousands of kilometers and landed on top of a dark mountain. He also sensed that Chris and the others were still chasing after him, and they were not giving up. Of course, he also knew that he had a saint's will engraved on him. He could use his own strength to get rid of the will, but that would alert Saint Minerva and expose his identity. There was no need to do that. In fact, he had sensed Saint Minerva's aura hidden in the depths of the void from the very beginning. Therefore, he did not plan to kill Chris and the others. Instead, he chose to escape. Xia Ping even pretended to be defeated and used up the talisman Sophia gave him to get rid of Sophia's surveillance. It was a plan that killed many birds with one stone. However, he had to admit that Sophia was really ruthless. He had done her a great favor, but she abandoned him just like that, making him a target for Minerva to vent her anger on. As expected, none of the illusory tribe's saints were trustworthy. They were all cruel and selfish people. Fortunately, Xia Ping did not have any expectations for such a life from the beginning. The only thing he could rely on in this world was himself, and that was the most reliable thing. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At that moment, Jacob, Chris, and the others finally caught up and surrounded Xia Ping in an instant. There was no space for him to escape. Kid, you can run. You're pretty good at running. Let me see if you can run again. Chris roared and glared at Xia Ping with murderous intent. Because of this brat, they had been severely scolded by Saint Minerva, causing them to lose all face. Right now, he wanted nothing more than to kill this brat 8 to 10 times over. Barty, you didn't expect this, did you? You've learned the 3000 Great Void clones. It's indeed the most powerful escape technique. If we didn't have some skills, you really would have gotten away. Jacob sneered. But it's different now. We've seen through all of your movements. No matter how crafty you are, you can't escape from our grasp. You should just give up on that thought. His murderous intent towards Xia Ping was getting stronger. If he had only been angry at the fact that the kid before him had humiliated him, turned him into a pauper, and caused him to lose all of his dignity, it was completely different after witnessing the kid's 3000 infinite cosmos clones. He immediately listed this brat as the greatest enemy of his life. In time, this brat's achievements would definitely surpass him. If this bastard continued to grow, then he, Jacob, would not be a match for him at all. He might even be surpassed by his latecomer. He could only watch as this kid ate the dust behind him. He would never be able to catch up. Such a mortal enemy naturally needed to be eradicated immediately. What's the point? There's no deep hatred between us. If we stop here, it's not like there's no room for reconciliation between us. I won't bother you anymore. What do you think? Xiaoping sighed and stood with his hands behind his back. No deep hatred? You're fucking kidding me. Jacob shouted. After losing the bet with you, I ate a ton of shit and became the laughingstock of the illusion race. Do you know how much humiliation I've suffered? I've lost all my face in this life, and you still dare to say there's no deep hatred between us? If I want you to die, it won't be a pity even if you die 10 times. Do you understand? His eyes were filled with endless hatred. When he thought of what happened that day, he almost vomited. Chris and the others looked at Jacob with pity. It was as if they could see the tears at the corner of his eyes. As a Thunder Retribution Realm expert, he was forced to eat a ton of shit. They never thought that such a thing would happen. It was no wonder that Jacob hated Barty to the bone. It wasn't without reason. If they encountered such a thing, they probably wouldn't want to continue living. So that's how it is. Then I understand. There's no room for reconciliation between us. It's either you die or I live. Xiaoping nodded, indicating that he understood. Wrong. It's you who dies and I who lives. That's your ending. Jacob sneered. But before he could finish his sentence, his hair suddenly stood on end. He felt a great danger. Because at this time, Xiaoping directly attacked. He didn't use any magic or secret technique. It was just an ordinary punch. But it made Jacob's hair stand on end. He felt that this punch seemed to transcend space, blurring his sixth senses. It looked slow, but it was unbelievably fast. No! Jacob tried to defend. But all he could do was shout out, and the fist came flying over. It was filled with a boundless killing intent, and a terrifying fist force that permeated through the void. Jacob didn't know what happened. His body was hit hard, and his whole body was crushed. Even his primordial spirit was completely destroyed, turning into a bloody mist. Jacob dead. This is a joke, right? Elder Jacob is dead. He was killed by a punch just like that. What happened just now? Carrie and the others were dumbfounded. They were completely dumbfounded. Their brains had already lost their ability to think. They were at a complete loss. According to their thinking, Jacob should have captured Barty and beaten the kid to a pulp, torturing him so viciously that he almost didn't look human anymore. That was the normal development. But what was going on? This kid just punched and Elder Jacob's body was crushed, turning him into a bloody mist. He couldn't even struggle. Damn it. Impossible. You can't be Barty. Who the hell are you? Another Lightning Tribulation Realm Elder screamed with all his might. Jacob is a Lightning Tribulation Realm expert. Even cultivators at the same level as him can't kill him with a single punch and turn him into ashes. The real Barty definitely can't have this kind of strength. Even if he ascended to heaven, he can't improve by leaps and bounds. Who the hell are you? Why are you pretending to be Barty? A fake Barty. Hearing this, Carrie and the others immediately felt their hair stand on end. They also thought of all the inharmonious feelings they had before. If this person in front of them wasn't the real Barty, but a fake, then everything would make sense. But if that was the case, it would be even more terrifying. Because of the illusion's proud inspection system, there had never been an invasion since ancient times. Now someone had infiltrated the illusion realm without them noticing. This was more terrifying than anything else. It meant that the illusion's lair had been discovered by an outsider. If this news was leaked, it would be a disaster for the illusion. Retreat. Retreat immediately. Report to the old ancestor. Tell him there's an enemy invasion. An enemy invasion. Even if we die, we have to spread this news. Another Thunder Retribution Realm Elder also roared, telling everyone to retreat. He hoped to spread this news and alert the illusion race's upper echelons to eliminate this damned spy. Chapter 2167. However, just as this Thunder Retribution Realm Elder shouted, Xiaoping rushed over and punched again. Dong! This was like the rumble of a war drum. His body couldn't withstand it at all. Even the armor on his body was penetrated by the terrifying fist energy, shattering on the spot, and exploding like fireworks. With just a single punch, the elder was killed without being able to resist at all. Large amounts of blood poured down, dyeing the ground red. This scene instantly scared the wits out of Chris and the others. If they hadn't reacted earlier, then they had now seen this scene clearly, no matter how big or small it was. The dead elder was even more terrifying than Jacob in terms of combat strength, but he was still no match for Xiaoping. He was killed with a single punch, as easy as chopping vegetables. If this punch had been used against them, they probably wouldn't have fared much better. They would have been killed directly, without even leaving a corpse. Barty, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Please spare my life. I don't know anything. It was all because of the old ancestor. Please spare me this time. In the future, I will definitely turn over a new leaf and not repeat the same mistakes. Carrie begged for mercy, extremely terrified. At this time, he didn't care whether this person in front of him was the real Barty or not. In any case, he only cared if he could survive. In fact, the more he knew at this time, the faster he would die. Turn over a new leaf? No need. Just turn over a new leaf in your next life. Hearing this, Xiaoping shook his head. If an apology could solve all problems, then what was the point of having the police? He didn't hold back and punched again. Immediately, Carrie and the other examinees didn't even have time to scream. The fist energy swept past them, and their bodies shattered like glass, turning them into countless pieces. With their strength, they couldn't even withstand the wind from Xiaoping's fist. Just a sweep of it was enough to shake them to death. In the distance, the mountains couldn't withstand the wind from the fist and collapsed one after another. Some mountains that were tens of thousands of meters tall were even smashed in half, directly disappearing into thin air. The wind from the fist forcefully carved out a path that spanned thousands of kilometers on the ground. Cracking sounds rang out as countless rocks were shaken into powder. Bastard, even if I die, I won't let you go. The remaining Thunder Retribution Realm Elder shouted angrily. His expression was ferocious. He seemed to know that he couldn't escape the fate of death, so he actually became bold. A terrifying destructive force surged out from his body. He was actually going to self-destruct on the spot. Can't stop it. Xiaoping's figure flashed because this person's self-destruction was too decisive. He couldn't stop it at all. He immediately used his divine ability and fled 500 kilometers away to avoid the self-destruction of this lightning tribulation eminence. Rumble. In an instant, everything within a radius of 1,000,000 kilometers was flattened. Mountains were blasted into dust, and a black mushroom cloud rose into the air, covering 1,000,000 kilometers. Terrifying destructive fluctuations spread out layer by layer. It was like a planet exploding, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. This kind of radiance was like the birth of the sun, penetrating millions of kilometers. Such a light was incomparably dazzling in the darkness of the abyss world. It was like a lighthouse in the darkness, tearing apart the thick darkness, and pointing out the direction for the other abyss demons. He's actually finding trouble for me even after death. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes, and walked out from the depths of the void. He hid in the space of the mountain river Pearl, avoiding most of the destructive fluctuations of magic power. This lightning tribulation eminence's self-destruction couldn't harm him at all. This person was also completely dead. His essence spirit was destroyed, and there was no sign of life. The problem was that this had completely alarmed all the abyss demons within a radius of millions of kilometers. He could sense countless abyss demons flying over from afar. They were surging over like an ocean. Clearly, this was the lightning tribulation elder's goal. Even if he couldn't kill Xiaoping with his self-detonation, the destructive fluctuations would still attract the attention of other powerful abyssal demons. Those abyssal demons would then surround and kill Xiaoping. This person's plan was also very successful. The power of the lightning tribulation eminence's self-destruction attracted the attention of countless abyss demon armies. Just within the range of Xiaoping's divine sense, there were hundreds of millions of abyss demons surrounding him. Xiaoping stood at the center of the explosion. His qi and blood were vigorous, and like the sun, he guided the direction for all the abyss demons. They were like moths flying into a flame. He was bold because of his skill, and he had no intention of escaping. Kiki humans! There are indeed humans in this place. I sensed it just now. Such rich and hot yang qi can only be possessed by human almighties. This kind of qi and blood makes me very excited. If I can devour one, my cultivation will definitely increase greatly. He's over there. That human didn't run. He's still in front. Arrogant. Human, you are very arrogant. You actually dare to fight in the abyss world. Are you looking down on us? Looks like this human's strength isn't simple either. What's there to be afraid of? We have many abyss demons. We can drown him with just a mouthful of saliva. Numerous abyss demons charged over. There were many types of abyss demons. There were ox-horn demons, goat-horn demons, bat demons, blood-sucking demons, heavenly demons, and so on. There were simply countless types. They rode demonic winds, forming a terrifying dark tide. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged over. The surrounding void was filled with a terrifying murderous aura. It was simply chilling. Without a doubt, this was an army of abyss demons. Moreover, they were well-trained and orderly. They seemed to have been guided by an expert. They didn't have the scattered troops that Xiaoping had encountered in the abyss world. The combined strength of these abyss demons was more than 10 times stronger than those scattered troops. Interesting. Let's try the illusion race's mind secret technique. Xiaoping had an idea and formed a seal with both hands. Illusion race's mystique, limitless nightmare technique. Rumble in an instant, with Xiaoping's body as the center, a powerful mind wave silently seeped out. It was like a huge mind boundary of nothingness, spreading over a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. In just a breath's time, this huge mind boundary shrouded the entire area, causing this army of abyss demons to fall into the nightmare world in an instant. Even heavenly demons couldn't resist such a mystique secret technique. In an instant, these abyss demons fell into the limitless hell world. They couldn't differentiate reality from illusion at all. They killed each other. There was no need for Xiaoping to do anything. These abyss demons engaged in a life and death battle with each other. They treated each other as their most hated enemy. A large number of abyss demons died rapidly, as expected of the illusion race's mystique secret technique. Such a mystique is simply terrifying, especially against those living creatures with weaker mind power. It's simply a killing machine. With just a thought, countless living creatures could fall into the nightmare world, unable to extricate themselves. Xiaoping was very satisfied with the power of this mystique secret technique. He didn't even need to do anything, and these abyss demons killed each other. It saved him a lot of effort. Stop, human. How dare you use such a sneaky move to kill my demon race army? You are courting death. At this moment there was a roar from afar. Chapter 2168. Boom! Just as he finished speaking, a terrifying wave of abyss demon chi surged out from the depths of the void. A huge vortex appeared, and the terrifying abyss demon chi transformed into a huge demon hand that grabbed down. Dong! Just one palm strike, and the nightmare barrier that enveloped the land was immediately shattered. Terrifying energy waves shook the surroundings, creating a buzzing sound and countless ripples. A huge palm print appeared on the ground, imprinted in the void. It was thousands of kilometers long, and the entire land was covered in dense cracks. It was a terrifying scene. However, because of the delay, even though this expert had suddenly appeared to stop Xiaoping's boundless nightmare art, more than half of the abyss demon army had died, and the demon army had suffered heavy losses. Whoosh! At this time, a tall middle-aged man in a black battle robe with bull horns on his head walked out from the depths of the void. He stared at Xiaoping viciously. Human from the illusion race, why did you attack my demon army? Have you forgotten the alliance between the illusion race and the abyss race? Are you planning to break the abyss alliance? His tone was filled with terrifying anger, like a supervolcano that could erupt at any time. Because more than half of the demon army had died, his army had suffered heavy losses. This middle-aged man's aura was very powerful. He was an immortal-level demon, and his entire body contained the aura of immortality. Abyss Alliance. What Abyss Alliance? Hearing this, Xiaoping was stunned. Generally speaking, the Abyss demon army would fight and kill when they encountered the living beings of the various races. They would never show mercy, and they would never ask for the reason. But now he was asking about the Abyss Alliance. Did he misunderstand that he was a sage from the illusion race? But if that was the case, the problem was huge. Could it be that the illusion race had signed some kind of agreement with the Abyss demon army? Otherwise, this Abyss demon army would not say such a thing. Of course, he could not rule out the possibility that this Abyss demon army was lying. You don't seem to know about this. Are you a disciple of the illusion race who just advanced to the immortal realm? Or are you not from the illusion race at all? The black-robed middle-aged man's eyes flashed with a cold light, and his killing intent surged. If that's the case, since you know the secret of my race, I will not allow you to leave this place alive. Interesting. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. It seemed like the illusion race's waters were deeper than he had imagined. The illusion race seemed to have colluded with the Abyss demons. This was not simple. Die, human. The black-robed middle-aged man shouted angrily. He held a demonic blade in his hand and rushed towards Xiaoping. Abyssal Divine Ability, 9 Abyss Demonic Thunder. This was a terrifying mystique that it had refined by collecting the endless baleful aura of the abyssal world, and using the power of demonic lightning in its body to kill billions of ordinary demons and absorb their souls. Once it erupted, it would create a terrifying explosion. It would be as if billions of lightning bolts were striking down. Thousands of volcanoes would erupt. Thousands of planets would explode. And everything within a range of billions of kilometers would be turned into dust. Even the nearby space would be shattered by the shockwave. Its power was so terrifying that even a sage with an immortal body would be blown to death. In an instant, terrifying bolts of black lightning emerged from the black-robed man's body. Countless black talismans were hidden within them, emitting a terrifying destructive aura. Thousands upon thousands of ball-shaped lightning bolts bombarded down at the same time, like thousands of missiles, locking onto Xiaoping's chi activity. No matter where he fled to, they would follow him. Rumble! At that moment, thousands upon thousands of ball-shaped lightning bolts exploded at the same time. It was as if many demons from the abyss had self-destructed, producing an extremely terrifying explosive power. In that instant, it seemed as if everything within a range of billions of kilometers had been destroyed. All the vitality was blasted into dust, showing signs of collapsing. It was as if doomsday had arrived, destroying everything. Even the surrounding void space trembled billions of times. The surrounding mountains were instantly turned into dust. Even the demons nearby could not withstand it. They were all blasted into dust just by coming into contact with some of the aftershocks. However, the black-robed middle-aged man did not care at all. He only wanted to kill the human in front of him. As for the demon soldiers, they were just cannon fodder. He could have as many as he wanted. Good timing. Xiaoping was fearless. He grabbed out with his hand, and the golden slime immediately turned into a golden greatsword, which he held in his hand. Immediately, he stood on the ground with both feet, as if he was Mother Earth. A tremendous and unfathomable power was transmitted from the depths of his feet, allowing him to condense the body of the earth. It was as if at that moment, he had become Mother Earth. Nothing could shake him. His strength increased by tens of times. An invincible power surged through every cell in his body. Kill! Xiaoping held the golden greatsword in his hand and slashed forward lightly. With a puff, the golden greatsword produced a terrifying sharpness, triggering a terrifying sword aura. It seemed to have sliced the void space apart, leaving a black trail. No matter what it was, it could not withstand such a sharp force. The boundless air waves, terrifying explosive power, and violent energy tides that were heading for Xiaoping were all sliced apart by the sword. All of them flew towards Xiaoping's body. The sword aura even sliced apart countless 9 abyss demonic thunders and slashed towards the black-robed middle-aged man. Its speed had reached the speed of light, and it could not be seen by the naked eye. How is this possible? The black-robed middle-aged man screamed. He had never expected something like this to happen. He had unleashed his full strength, but it had no effect on this kid. It was just a single sword attack, but it had sliced apart all of his attacks. The sword aura was still heading for his body. The speed was too fast, and there was no way to avoid it or block it. Dong! In a split second, the body of this undying demon was sliced in half like a vegetable being sliced into a watermelon. It was not as simple as his body being sliced apart. Even his undying primordial spirit was sliced apart. Instantly, he felt excruciating pain, as though he had been subjected to endless torture. All the pain in the world could not compare to this. Along the way, the sword aura traversed billions of kilometers, almost slicing the land in half. It was as though the land had been sliced into a huge abyss. Many abyssal demons nearby were also killed by the sword aura. All of them were sliced into pieces, and not even their bones were left. Almost all the abyssal demons were dead. Not a single abyssal demon could survive under such sword aura. Too sharp, Xiaoping exclaimed. Previously, he had only tried out the power of the golden slime. He had not used his full strength. Now, in order to deal with this undying demon, he used a little more strength. He had not expected it to be this powerful. Just a single sword attack had sliced the undying demon in half, and it was on the verge of death. Such power was simply unbelievable. Chapter 2169. Walala. Xiaoping waved his hand and collected all the demon flesh on the ground. He placed them next to World Tree and let it absorb them. These demon flesh seemed to be very beneficial to World Tree's growth. Although it couldn't be compared to Undying Demon, it was still a low-level fertilizer. You, who are you? At this moment, the demon looked at Xiaoping in fear. It felt unprecedentedly weak. After its Yuan spirit was split open by that sword, it had an injury that couldn't be healed. One must know that it was an undying demon, and its injuries couldn't be healed. How terrifying was that? If it didn't experience it personally, it wouldn't dare to believe it. It immediately suspected Xiaoping's identity. It didn't know where he came from. He wasn't even an undying saint, but he was able to cripple it. This was unbelievable. You don't need to know who I am. What's the deal with the Abyss Alliance? Can you tell me? I'm very interested in this. Xiaoping looked down from above. His aura completely locked onto the demon. This demon was completely under his control. It couldn't escape at all. A tyrannical force came crashing down with his body as the center, creating a terrifying aura. Even if the immortal demon made a move, he would be able to see it clearly. Scram, this is my abyss secret. It can't be leaked. Just give up. The demon sneered. It was very stubborn. This was top secret information in the abyss, and it would definitely not be known by others. Otherwise, it would definitely cause a great disaster. Oh, I see. Then I'm even more interested. Xiaoping rubbed his chin. Dong. Without waiting for the demon to speak, countless roots of the world tree sprouted from Xiaoping's body and pierced into the demon's body. Bastard, damn it, human, what did you do to me? The demon screamed in fear. It felt fatal danger. It was as if the roots were a great threat to it. It was like it had met its natural enemy. But before it could resist, these roots had completely penetrated its body and even its soul. Its entire body was tied up, and it was almost unable to move. In the next second, even its soul lost consciousness. It was completely occupied by the will of the world tree, as if it had become a puppet of the world tree. It did not even have the ability to commit suicide. Tell me, what is this so-called Abyss Covenant? Xiaoping asked. This is the agreement between our Abyss world and the Illusion race. Our Abyss world will grant the Illusion race great power and provide them with countless cultivation resources. In return, the Illusion race must become a vassal race of the Abyss demons and prepare to invade the universe in the future. The Black Undying Demon replied like a machine. The Illusion tribe has become the dogs of the abyssal demons. They want to lead the way. What is going on? Xiaoping squinted his eyes, revealing a deep murderous aura. These sages of the Illusion race clearly knew that the Abyss demons were the mortal enemies of all the races in the universe. But the illusion race still dared to sign a contract with the Abyss demons and become traitors. If the other races found out about this, the illusion race would die without a doubt, because this had violated the taboo of all the races in the universe. It was unforgivable. No one would forgive a traitor. At the start, the illusion race did not agree, but a peak demon of my race personally corrupted one of the illusion race old ancestors, making it completely degenerate into an abyss demon. They had no choice but to agree. If not for the fear of being discovered by the other races, the entire race would have been corrupted by us. The Black Undying Demon said proudly. This was a shocking plan that spanned across the immemorial era. It corrupted a powerful race and made them a member of the Abyss. If the time came, the entire illusion race would become an Abyss race and add a great combat power to the Abyss world. Until now, most of the sages of the illusion race had become members of the Abyss. Only a few newly advanced illusion race sages had not been assimilated. But when the time came, it was only a matter of time. Hearing this, Xiaoping's eyes flashed coldly. If the Abyss demons really started a war, and the entire illusion race betrayed them, all the races in the universe would suffer heavy losses. Especially the special ability of the illusion race. They could transform into other races. If they were used by the Abyss demons, the damage would be unimaginable. At that time, everyone would be in danger and would not know who was on their side. It could be said that this race was a double-edged sword. If they could not control it, they would definitely hurt themselves. This is no small matter. Looks like I have to let the upper echelons of the human race know about this and completely eradicate this scourge. Otherwise, it will definitely lead to a disaster in the future. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and thought of a series of plans. But for now, probably only the sages and ancestors of the illusion race would be corrupted by the Abyss. Those young disciples did not know about this, and did not have the qualifications to be corrupted by the Abyss. This was a silver lining in the misfortune. Right? Does that Minerva know about this? Xiaoping suddenly thought of that ancient sage Minerva. To be honest, from the moment they met, he indeed felt a wave of malice and discomfort from her. Previously, he thought that it might be because of her hostility that made him involuntarily resist. But now, it seemed that perhaps it was because of the Abyss aura on her that made him feel hostility. It was only because Minerva had concealed her aura too perfectly that he could not detect it at first. However, this was only a guess. Whether it was true or not, he still had to investigate carefully. Since I've come to this Abyss world, I can't leave empty-handed. I wonder how many immortal demons there are in this Abyss continent. Perhaps I can kill a few and capture them as fertilizer. Xiaoping touched his chin. He could not return to the illusion world immediately, because the trial was not over yet. It would still take 10 days. If he returned so soon, Minerva would definitely suspect him. Therefore, he still needed to stay in this Abyss world for about 10 days. Whoosh! Thinking of this, Xiaoping did not hesitate, and immediately flew into the depths of the Abyss continent. He could sense that there were still many powerful abyssal demons in the abyss of this continent. If he could kill some of them, it would definitely be of great benefit to his cultivation. He was now filled with a sense of urgency. Perhaps it was time to advance to the sempiternal realm. Only by becoming a true sage could he have the invincible power to control everything. If he did not become a sage, he would still be an ant. Chapter 2170. One day later, in the depths of the Abyss continent, on a plain, there was a vast and boundless city built here. The city walls stood tall, and the style was simple and unadorned. They seemed to have experienced the vicissitudes of time, as if they hadn't changed at all after millions of years. In the depths of the city lived all kinds of abyssal demons. They were densely distributed around the city. It was like a human country, with its own laws and rules. This was simply an inconceivable thing, because the Abyss world was originally an extremely chaotic place. Like a primitive world, it was filled with barbarism and slaughter. There was only destruction, never construction. But after experiencing the defeat in the immemorial era, many abyssal demons learned from the painful experience and decided to learn all kinds of knowledge from the human race and the other races. They learned the system, learned the discipline, learned the army, learned the creation of weapons, and so on. They almost imitated the other races to build their own cities. However, this situation only appeared in some relatively powerful demonic continents. Only powerful forces could suppress all the abyssal demons and rule everything, not allowing any demons to resist. Whoosh! At this moment, Xiaoping silently approached the city. He couldn't help but exclaim when he saw this city. Although it looked very crude, its defense was extremely strong. The city walls were extremely thick and hard. Probably even dozens of battleships firing Star Destroyer cannons might not be able to penetrate these powerful city walls made of special materials. But he could also see that this abyss continent wasn't ordinary. There was definitely a powerful abyssal demon that completely unified this continent and forcefully made all kinds of rules. Only then did these powerful abyssal demons obediently stay together and not kill each other. He could sense that there were countless abyssal demons living around this city. Each of them was powerful, definitely the elites among elites. There were more than 10 billion of them. There are indeed immortal demons here. Suddenly, Xiaoping sensed that there was an ancient castle in the depths of this city. There was a powerful abyssal demon aura coming from that place, distorting the void. No ordinary demons dared to approach within several thousand kilometers. It was regarded as a forbidden zone. Whoosh! Xiaoping didn't hesitate. He used Formless Mask to conceal his aura, and silently entered the depths of this ancient castle. No abyssal demons discovered him. In the castle hall, a total of 8 immortal-level abyssal demons appeared. They sat on huge stone chairs, and seemed to be holding a meeting. Damn it, what's going on? Why did Logan's aura suddenly disappear from the abyss continent? Who attacked him? A purple-horned undying realm fiend roared. His body surged with rage, distorting space and causing cracks to appear on the ground. Hearing this, Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. This Logan was most likely the black undying demon that he had captured and used as fertilizer for the world tree. Now that a day had passed, the group of immortal fiendish demons probably knew about this matter. After all, even in the abyss world, immortal fiendish demons were extremely powerful. Losing one was an extremely heavy loss that could not be ignored. Was it done by those bitches from the Illusion clan? Only they have the strength and motivation to do so. I heard that those bastards are actually trying to break free from the shackles of the will of the abyss, and they've secretly played many tricks. A goat-horned undying demonic demon's eyes flashed with a cold light, because it wasn't just the undying realm fiendish demon that disappeared this time. There was also an army of hundreds of millions of fiendish demons. However, they had all disappeared. Not even their corpses were left. Without a doubt, Logan and the others must have been attacked by sages. Otherwise, they wouldn't have disappeared completely without leaving any traces. Trying to break free from the shackles of the will of the abyss? That's wishful thinking. Even the sages of the immemorial era can't do this. What can those trash do? That's right. They've signed an agreement with the abyss continent and still want to violate it. Dream on. Even so, these little tricks might affect the layout of our abyss world. It might cause big trouble. We can't let those trash from the Illusion clan continue. We must teach them a lesson. We're still their boss. I knew those Illusion clan people are ingrates. We shouldn't have trusted them. We should have killed them all back then. Just leaving some trash would have been enough. Now that they can't do anything, they even want to bite back at their master. How preposterous. Don't worry, the Illusion clan people want to become masters. Who doesn't know their ambition? In the abyss world, strength reigns supreme. It's normal to have some ambition. However, they've signed an agreement with the abyss continent and obtained its power. If they still try to resist, they're traitors. We must teach them a lesson. The many undying fiendish demons sneered. They also knew the Illusion clan's ambition. Ever since they were eroded by the abyss, they acted respectfully on the surface and cooperated with the abyss. However, these sages often played tricks behind their backs, constantly trying to break free from the abyss continent. After all, the Illusion sages were proud and didn't want to become the lackeys of other races. Even so, everything was under the control of the abyss continent. It was like a dog with a collar tied around its neck. No matter how fierce the dog was, it couldn't break free from the collar, and could only obediently accept its fate. They were well aware of this, and were secretly watching a joke. Watching this group of illusory race sages act like clowns was also a rare source of entertainment. However, the illusion sages dared to kill the undying fiendish demon Logan, and possibly annihilate a demon army. This violated the bottom line and taboo of the abyss demons. Because no matter how fierce a dog was, it shouldn't bite its master. If it did, it wouldn't be a good dog. It needed to be taught a lesson. But we don't have any proof that the illusion sages did this. An undying fiendish demon said, "It doesn't matter. We need no proof. Just say it is." That's right. What explanation do we need? How about this? The day of our abyss world's counterattack is near. Why don't we completely erode the illusion clan and turn them into the abyss? They won't be able to escape then. Indeed, use this chance to capture the illusion clan in one fell swoop. This way they won't be able to be traitors. The undying fiendish demon's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Because of Logan's disappearance, they completely lost their patience with the illusion clan. They wanted to directly attack and control them. At this point, they didn't need to hide anything. Chapter 2171. At this moment, in a dark corner of the castle, Xia Ping used the power of the formless mask to conceal his aura. He hid nearby and quietly listened to the immortal fiendish demons meeting. No immortal fiendish demon could detect Xia Ping's presence. They want to corrupt the entire illusion race? Absolutely not. Otherwise, they will be a great help to the abyssal world. We must stop these immortal fiendish demons. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes with a cold glint. Although he was alone and couldn't contend against the entire abyssal world, it was still a piece of cake for him to deal with these immortal fiendish demons and delay them. Moreover, if he could kill these 8 immortal fiendish demons and refine them into immortal fruits, he would be able to reach Lightning Tribulation Realm Pinnacle immediately. It would save him a lot of cultivation time. At this moment, he didn't want to continue developing. He wanted to reach Sempiternal Realm first. As long as he grew stronger, capturing as many immortal fiendish demons as possible would be a piece of cake. Alright, I will report the contents of the meeting to the general, and let him know of our decision. We cannot delay the matter of corrupting the illusion race. I believe the general will agree with us, and take action immediately. At this moment, the purple-horned immortal fiendish demon stood up, and announced the end of the meeting. He did not hesitate at all. Then I'll leave it to you. The other 7 immortal fiendish demons nodded. They also agreed to this arrangement. Chance. Xia Ping's eyes flashed with a cold glint. He could sense that this was the moment when the 8 immortal fiendish demons were the most relaxed. They probably didn't expect to be ambushed in their own castle. His ambush this time would definitely catch the 8 immortal fiendish demons off guard. Kill! In the blink of an eye, Xia Ping took out the golden slimes that had transformed into a huge golden sword. A figure emerged from the void and slashed at the 8 undying fiendish demons. Golden slime mystic art, unstoppable. Swoosh! A beam of golden sword light slammed down from the sky, containing boundless killing intent and terrifying sharpness. It completely tore the castle and the world into two. Not good. The purple-horned undying demon's hair stood on end. Every cell in his body felt a fatal killing intent, because this sword was aimed at him. It was completely dumbfounded. It had never imagined that there would be an enemy assassinating it in this castle, the headquarters of the Abyss Demons. This was something that had never happened in millions of years, and it had no experience. For a moment, it was completely dumbfounded. Its mind was blank, and it didn't know how to react. Dong! The sword cleaved the purple-horned fiendish demon in half. Even his essence soul was completely torn apart by the sword light. With a spluttering sound, the blood on its body spurted out like a fountain. In a loud thud, the two have smashed onto the ground, stirring up a cloud of dust. Their eyes widened in horror, unwillingness, fear, and disbelief. It was as if it couldn't believe that it had died just like that. It was killed on the spot with a single strike. It couldn't even react. It couldn't be blamed. The sword was just too fast. With a flash of cold light, its body was cut in half. This was an earth-shattering sword that surpassed the imagination of all the undying demons. Bastard, you dare kill Lord Dylan. You're courting death, you're courting death. Do you understand? Seeing the purple-horned immortal fiendish demon die in one strike, the other 7 immortal fiendish demons finally reacted. They roared and stared at Lin Yun with their eyes wide open. They were extremely furious. No one had ever dared to barge into the abyssal demon's castle. No one had even been able to assassinate them in this place. Now, someone actually appeared and killed the undying demon Dylan in front of them. This was a slap to their faces. This was an unprecedented humiliation. Die, abstrusine demon claw! Roared an undying demon. It clawed at Xia Ping. Endless abstrusine demon chi gathered in the depths of the void. At the same time, dense demonic runes appeared. A huge black claw appeared, containing terrifying sharpness. It was like an ancient demonic bird from the abyssal world. This claw tore the world apart. At the same time, it contained terrifying abyssal demon chi that corroded the space, causing the world to shake. Blood Sea Torrent. Another blood-colored undying demon attacked. A sea of blood filled the sky. Countless amounts of blood spread out from the depths of the void, as if it had a mind of its own. Every drop of blood represented a vengeful spirit or evil ghost. Countless drops of blood formed a long river of blood that filled the sky. Anyone who fell into it would immediately be corroded and become one of the vengeful spirits in the blood sea. The sea of blood even contained a soul attack. It was like billions of evil ghosts lunging over. Even immortal fiendish demons with slightly weaker souls would be completely devoured. Great Void Demon Flame. Another crimson undying demon opened its mouth and spat out a ball of fire. This was a terrifying flame from the abyssal world. It could burn the void and corrode souls. Once upon a time, it could destroy half of the abyssal continent with a single breath and burn countless abyssal demons to death. Just a drop of it could kill all living beings on a planet and turn them to ashes. Instantly, the sea of fire that filled the sky rushed over, burning the heaven and earth. Woo woo woo, ghosts wailed, wolves howled, and gods and devils cried. Apart from this, the other 4 undying demons also attacked at the same time. They used their best abilities and attacked from all directions. They didn't give Xia Ping any time to escape. The 7 undying demons' attacks were simply earth-shattering. They could destroy everything within 1 billion kilometers. Destructive ripples spread out from time to time. The entire castle was destroyed in an instant, and all the building materials were completely destroyed, leaving not a single drop behind. Even the soldiers of the fiend demon race that were stationed near the castle could not withstand the waves of Dharma power. Within a breath's time, they were all shocked to death and turned into dust, leaving nothing behind. All the abyssal demons in this boundless city looked towards the castle. They could clearly feel the wrath of the 7 undying demons. It was like the end of the world had arrived. Some of the weaker ones prostrated on the ground in fear, not daring to move. Good. Xiaoping was expressionless. He wielded the golden greatsword and had the body of earth. He had endless energy. He didn't fear anything. These undying demons were nothing to him. In an instant he attacked again. Chapter 2172. God Art Earthquake. In an instant, Xiaoping immediately activated the supreme divine ability of the golden greatsword in his hand. Rumbled with his body as the center, a terrifying earthquake occurred in a radius of billions of kilometers. It was like the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. The entire land and space was shaking. In an instant, all the buildings in the city of demons collapsed, and terrifying cracks appeared on the ground, extending for more than 1 billion kilometers. Even the surrounding spatial barriers were densely packed with cracks, as if they were made of glass. This power even caused space to shatter and shatter. Layers of spatial tremors came from the depths of the golden sword. It seemed to have triggered the laws of vibration, creating billions of tremors that contained boundless destructive power. Dong dong dong. In just an instant, the attacks of the 7 immortal fiendish demons, be it Mystic Een Demon Claw, Sky Torrential Blood Sea, Great Void Demon Fire, or other god arts, were all turned into a ball of energy and completely destroyed. Impossible. The 7 immortal fiendish demons were dumbfounded. They didn't expect the attacker to be this terrifying. Just one sword strike was enough to destroy all of their power, leaving nothing behind. This was simply unimaginable. It was simply unimaginable. Kill. Xiaoping was unforgiving. How could he miss such a great opportunity? He slashed over again. Suddenly, a golden sword light swept over. It was like this was the only light left in the world, as if it was the only light in the world of darkness. All the abyssal demons in Fiendish Demon City could see this golden light sweeping out from the depths of the castle. Everything in its path, no matter what it was cut in half. Bang bang bang. In the next second, the heads of the 7 immortal fiendish demons were cut off at the same time. Blood sprayed out from their necks, almost dyeing the ground red. The blood even contained terrifying corrosive properties. It made sizzling sounds and corroded the ground. Large amounts of smoke rose from the ground. Moreover, this sword didn't just cut off their heads. It also tore their souls in half. The vitality of their immortal bodies was completely extinguished. Countless cells died at the same time. Their eyes were wide open, showing fear, panic, bewilderment, and disbelief, as if they couldn't believe they died just like that. After all, they were terrifying fiendish demons with immortal bodies. They had lived for billions of years, yet they were killed in just one sword attack. No one would believe this. They would only treat it as a joke. Success. Xiaoping was very excited. He didn't expect things to go so smoothly. The 8 immortal fiendish demons didn't have much chance to retaliate. Firstly, it was all thanks to the power of the golden slime. Its various sacred abilities were unparalleled. Even immortal rank demons could not withstand the power of the golden swords. Secondly, his timing was too good. He killed the strongest immortal fiendish demons with his first attack. The other 7 immortal fiendish lords couldn't react in time. How could the 8 immortal fiendish demons resist? They were all killed. Very good. With the corpses of these 8 immortal fiendish demons, I can refine them into immortal fruits. It will definitely raise my magic power and divine sense to the peak. It will save me countless years of cultivation. Xiaoping clenched his fist. He felt that he had struck it rich this time. Bastard, you dare to kill my subordinates. You're courting death. Suddenly, a furious roar came from the depths of the void. It shook the void for billions of kilometers. Countless energies exploded, causing the souls of countless fiendish demons to crack. A terrifying aura spread out from the depths of countless dimensions, shaking the 9 heavens and 10 earths. What? Xiaoping's hair stood up. Every cell in his body was warning him. An intense sense of danger spread throughout his body. It was as if he was being targeted by a peerless beast. Near ancient sage. The one who spoke was an existence that far surpassed a mortal sage. His strength had reached the near-ancient sage level. Such strength was more than 100 times stronger than a mortal sage. In the blink of an eye, a huge black hand tore through countless layers of origin space and slammed toward Xiaoping from an unknown distance. Abyss sacred art, heaven-shrouding demon hand. This dark demonic hand was truly connected to the heavens and the earth. Its fingers were tens of thousands of kilometers long and were filled with demonic qi. They contained countless abyssal demon runes, and it was as if there were billions of demons wailing and howling. This gigantic hand slapped out from the depths of void space, encompassing an area of millions and millions of kilometers. It was as if the entire world was covered by this gigantic hand. All the light, all the stars, and the surrounding void space all disappeared, as if it had been sealed up. All the fiendish demons only saw a hand made of abyss demonic energy, reaching out from the depths of the void. The strands of demonic energy that leaked out from this hand had condensed into a physical form. They came from all directions, and each strand of demonic energy seemed to weigh more than 100 tons. Billions of strands of demonic energy pressed down, forming a small world that crushed towards Xiaoping's body. The entire void was about to collapse from the pressure. The so-called immortal fiendish demons were simply a joke in front of this palm. The difference was incalculable. Too strong. Only now did Xiaoping truly feel how terrifying a near-ancient saint was. This was a furious attack from a near-ancient saint. This was the strongest enemy he had ever encountered. Before, he thought that near-ancient saints were only existences that comprehended space laws. Even if they were stronger than immortal saints, they weren't that much stronger. Perhaps he could deal with them. But now, it seemed that he had underestimated them. Near-ancient saints who comprehended space laws could not only use space power to the acme of perfection, but they could also use the power of the void to unleash power that was thousands of times stronger. A single strike was like countless spaces crushing down on them. If a world descended, it would be reduced to dust in an instant. Sacred art, infinite void 3,000 clones. Xiaoping didn't hesitate, and immediately split into 3,000 clones that merged into the void and escaped in all directions. Then he grabbed and placed the 8 immortal fiendish demons' corpses into the mountain river pearl space. At the same time, he used Kuanpeng steps and turned into a giant Kuanpeng. He silently entered the depths of the void and instantly moved billions of kilometers away. At this time, the demonic hand that covered the sky came crashing down, slapping the place where Xia Pingyuan was standing. Boom! Everything within billions of kilometers was flattened. The city of fiendish demons was immediately turned to dust. All the fiendish demons were killed and turned to dust in an instant. A giant palm print appeared on the ground. It was filled with dense and terrifying runes. It seemed like there were terrifying imprints even in the depths of the void. Chapter 2173. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure walked out from the depths of the void. Its entire body was wrapped in demonic energy, distorting the void and corroding the space within thousands of kilometers. The demonic energy was dense, making it impossible to see its true appearance. Although it looked like it was standing in the air, it was actually hiding in the depths of countless dimensions. Ordinary sages couldn't find its true body. Damn, where did that human ant go? Did he get slapped to death, or did he run away? The terrifying ancient fiend said in a muffled voice. He was filled with rage. Seeing his 9 undying fiends being killed by a human, this was an unprecedented humiliation. After learning about this, it came to use its supreme demon god art, heaven-shrouding demon hand. It tried to slap the human to death across countless dimensions, but when it arrived here, it didn't find that damned human. It didn't know if he had been slapped to death or had escaped, because it couldn't sense any human's aura within billions of kilometers. It was as if the enemy had disappeared right in front of its eyes. It was unbelievable, but as an ancient demon, it could clearly sense that the human hadn't been killed by it. Instead, the human had escaped into the void at the critical moment. That guy even had a special method to hide his aura and avoid its pursuit. You're lucky. I've remembered your aura. Don't let me find you, or you'll die for sure. The demon roared in anger and murderous intent. It was unwilling to give up and immediately searched the entire Abyss continent, searching every corner. But it still couldn't find any trace of the enemy. It was as if the enemy had disappeared into thin air. The illusion disciples who entered the Abyss continent to train were pale and trembling. They felt the terrifying consciousness scanning everywhere, almost causing them to collapse. Fortunately, the ancient demon still remembered the agreement with the illusion race and didn't attack these ants. Otherwise, with just one breath, the illusion race's disciples would have been turned into ashes. A few days later, the demon gave up on searching for the killer. It didn't have that much time to stay here, so it could only give up. At this time, in a remote valley somewhere in the Abyss continent, Xiaoping cast the 3,000 Great Void and Infinity clones, coupled with the Kuanpeng steps and other speed magical abilities, and the formless mask to help conceal his aura. He turned into a stone on the side of the road. Only then did he manage to hide from the search of that ancient demon. There were a few times when he was almost discovered by the ancient demon. Fortunately, the formless mask was very powerful, and the ancient demon did not discover him when he turned into a rock. Otherwise, he would really be dead. Pooh! Xiaoping couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His heart was still pounding with fear. Fortunately, he reacted quickly. When the ancient demon attacked, he decisively fled. That was how he managed to avoid most of the damage. But even so, his body was still swept by the aftermath, and he was instantly seriously injured. The terrifying power of space invaded his internal organs, destroying every cell in his body. Even though he had the blood rebirth bloodline ability, it would still take him a long time to recover. If he was hit head-on, even if he didn't die, he would at least lose half his life. The ancient sages are still too strong. I have to break through to the sempiternal realm to stand a chance against them. Xiaoping was now very clear about his own strength and the huge gap between him and the ancient sages. Fortunately, he did not come out empty-handed this time. He obtained the corpses of 8 immortal fiendish demons. After the world tree devoured and refined them, 8 immortal fruits were born. The 8 immortal fruits were very mystical. They were the size of a fist, and they were covered in dense golden patterns. There were thousands of runes coiling around them, and every rune contained a mysterious magical power. The flesh of the fruits contained the life essence of an immortal fiendish demon. After being cleansed by the world tree, all impurities were removed, and only the purest essence was left. An immortal fruit like this was equivalent to the magic power of a lightning tribulation realm expert after billions of years. This time, I must reach the peak of the lightning tribulation realm. I might even have a chance to break through to the sempiternal realm. Xiaoping swallowed the 8 immortal fruits in one go. Walala, the 8 immortal fruits represented the life essence of 8 immortal fiendish demons. There was no waste at all. They immediately entered Xiaoping's stomach and were digested. Immediately, he felt a huge amount of energy surging out from the depths of his body. It surged into his limbs like a tidal wave, then into his sea of consciousness, and into his 9 purple mansions. The heavy injuries from the ancient fiendish demons were also recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. In an instant, he had recovered to his peak condition. At the same time, his body and Yuan Shun immediately swelled up. His magic power skyrocketed and rose. The 9 purple mansions, which were originally in a state of emptiness, immediately swelled up after being nourished by the 8 immortal fruits. They quickly filled up. Every corner of the 9 purple mansions was filled with majestic energy. Peak of the lightning tribulation realm. Xiaoping immediately sensed that his Yuan Shun and his magic power had reached the peak. It was almost at the point of no improvement. His 9 purple mansions were filled with majestic energy. His Yuan Shun also rose to the extreme. It felt like his Yuan Shun and his body had completely merged. If he could completely merge his Yuan Shun and every cell in his body, he would transform into a true spirit. Then, he would truly obtain an immortal body and advance to the sage realm. Boom! In an instant, Xiaoping's soul also entered the depths of the sea of bitterness. His soul expanded several times, and he was like a giant crossing the sea of bitterness. Instantly, countless seawater from the sea of bitterness slapped against his giant body. Huge waves surged around him. From time to time, lightning flashed and thunder roared. Storms raged. Every drop of seawater was pulling his body, trying to make him sink into the sea of bitterness. Get lost! Xiaoping roared in anger. Thunder rumbled, and a terrifying aura was generated. He punched out again, and pierced through the sea of bitterness. All the dark clouds in the sky dispersed. He relied on brute force to advance step by step. No matter how strong the wind or the waves were, they could not stop him at all. After an unknown period of time, he finally neared the shore of the sea of bitterness. Xiaoping's heart jumped. He wanted to use this chance to cross the sea of bitterness and jump out of the river of fate to become immortal. But when he reached the shore, an invisible barrier appeared in front of him. It stopped him from moving forward and prevented him from jumping out of the sea of bitterness. He was just a little bit away from condensing his true spirit and advancing to the immortal realm. I need one more lightning trial. Xiaoping immediately understood why he was a little bit lacking. His body and primordial spirit were too powerful. He needed a lightning tribulation and a powerful external force to fuse his primordial spirit with his body, allowing his soul to transform into a true spirit. The lightning trial was a crisis, but it was also an opportunity to help him advance to the immortal realm. Soon, the lightning trial is coming too. Xiaoping felt that deep in the void, the terrifying lightning trial was brewing. Once it was done, he would dodge it and immediately become immortal, condensing his true spirit. Chapter 2174. A few days later, in a plaza in the Fantasy Quest Hall, there was a teleportation array connected to the abyss. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this time, many figures appeared from the teleportation array. They were illusion warriors who had completed their training and returned from the abyss. They looked excited, as if they had just survived a disaster. We're back. We're finally back alive. Isn't that right? I dare say that this trial was the most dangerous trial in history. Yeah. Who would have thought that we would run into ancient demons? We were almost killed by them. Yeah. We were so close. If we were noticed by the ancient demons, we would have been dead. Everyone was overjoyed. They felt that their luck was too good. They were so close to being completely annihilated. None of them would have made it back alive. That's strange. Where are Jacob and the other examiners? Where did they go? Why haven't they returned? Someone noticed that Jacob and the other elders were nowhere to be seen. Yeah. Where did Chris and the others go? With their strength, they shouldn't have failed the trial. Where are they now? Someone noticed that Chris and the others hadn't returned. They thought it was strange. Out of all the participants, Chris and the others were relatively strong. Everyone else had passed the trial, so there was no way Chris and the others hadn't. Yeah. Before we left, I saw Chris and the others surrounding Barty. They looked like they wanted to kill him. Did Barty kill them? Impossible. No matter how strong Barty is, he can't kill Chris and the others. Not to mention, Jacob and the other elders were with him. Even if Barty ascended to heaven, there's nothing he could do. But now that Elder Jacob hasn't returned, I'm afraid the odds are against him. And Barty might be dead too. If he's dead, then he's dead. What does that have to do with us? We've completed the mission anyway. Everyone discussed this matter spiritedly, feeling extremely confused. Chris and the others, as well as Jacob and the other elders, still hadn't returned alive. This was simply a fantasy story. Some people even guessed that Jacob and the others had been killed by Barty, but everyone shook their heads, thinking that it was impossible. It was like a white rabbit killing a dozen tigers. No matter how they looked at it, it was ridiculous. No one believed that Barty could kill Jacob and the others. Boom! At that moment, the teleportation array lit up again, and a figure appeared on the square. Buddy, isn't that Buddy? He's not dead yet. Quite a few people immediately cried out in alarm. When they saw Barty appear, they all looked as if they had seen a ghost, and their faces were filled with disbelief. They had all seen Barty's fate. He had been surrounded by Jacob and the other elders. No matter how they looked at it, he was doomed to die. Now he had actually come back alive. It was simply unbelievable. If it weren't for the fact that Barty's body was emitting the aura of a living person, they would have thought that they were seeing a ghost. At that moment, Xiaoping had finally stayed in the Abyss continent for 10 days, so he chose to return to the illusion world. For the past few days, he had been consolidating his cultivation, familiarizing himself with his skyrocketing magic power, divine sense, and other powers, quietly waiting for the arrival of the Thunder Calamity. And this time, his control over his power had become even more perfect. It was smooth and formless, not a single trace of aura leaked out. It was perfect and flawless. Barty. At that moment, 3 Mission Hall elders flew over from afar. Impressively, they had all reached the peak of the Thunder Calamity realm. Murderous intent filled their bodies as they descended on the square in an instant. Why did you come back alone? Where are Elder Jacob and the others? Where did they go? One of the Mission Hall elders immediately questioned, glaring fiercely at Xiaoping. He was someone who knew the details, so naturally, he knew the plan of Jacob and the others. Their goal was to kill Barty. But now Barty was not dead. Instead, Jacob and the others were missing. No matter how he thought about it, it was strange. How would I know? Elder Jacob is a Thunder Calamity realm expert. How would I dare to ask about his whereabouts? But since he hasn't returned yet, he's probably dead. Xiaoping said lazily. Dead my ass. Another black-clothed elder shouted angrily. Jacob and the others have 3 Thunder Calamity realm experts. Their strength is tyrannical. Even if you die 8 or 10 times, they won't die. Tell me, did you murder them? Did you cause them to meet with misfortune? He couldn't restrain his anger. He was treating Xiaoping as a murderer. Elder, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. You say that I murdered them. May I ask if you have any proof? Xiaoping looked at the black-clothed elder calmly. The black-clothed elder was momentarily speechless. He didn't know what to say. He couldn't say that Jacob and the others had entered this trial with the goal of murdering Barty. Could he? If he said this, he would immediately be investigated by the Council of Elders and sentenced to death on the spot. After all, this was a violation of the clan's rule of no infighting. Even a saint would be severely punished. This kind of thing couldn't be said. Otherwise, it would cause a huge uproar. When the time came, he would be treated as a scapegoat. Don't speak carelessly if you don't have proof. Spreading rumors is a felony. Moreover, you said that they can't die just because they're strong. Who made such a rule? This is the Abyss continent. There are even immortal demons. Maybe they were unlucky enough to meet an immortal demon and ended up being eaten. After all, in this world, you can choke to death when you're unlucky. Xiaoping said indifferently. Met an immortal demon? That's indeed a possibility. When I was in the trial, I saw an immortal demon flying through the sky. Its monstrous demonic aura almost killed me. Hearing this, someone from the illusion tribe immediately cried out and recounted his experience. Indeed, I also met an immortal demon. It was truly monstrous. Earlier, it seemed to have exploded in anger and swept through the entire Abyss continent. I don't know what it was searching for. Now that you mention it, I also remember. It's very likely that Jacob and the others did something that angered the immortal demon and were killed on the spot. So that's how it is. If that's the case, Jacob and the others probably touched the immortal demon's bad luck and were killed on the spot. How unlucky. If that's the case, then Jacob and the others were really unlucky. Everyone discussed. They were very sympathetic and pitied Jacob and the others. They were so unlucky to meet an immortal demon and be killed on the spot. No matter what cultivation level one had, meeting an immortal demon was a dead end. In fact, this was the only reason that could explain why Jacob and the others died. After all, with Barty's cultivation and strength, he couldn't have posed any threat to Jacob and the others. Chapter 2175. Upon hearing this, the 3 elders of the Hall of Mission subconsciously believed everyone's words. If an ancient demon had really appeared in the Abyss continent, and Jacob and the others happened to encounter it, then Jacob and the others' deaths would not be in vain. In fact, they did not believe that Barty could kill Jacob and the others by himself. Barty must have used some kind of trick to kill Jacob and the others. Although they were very suspicious, they did not have any evidence. After all, they did not go to the Abyss continent, and there were no witnesses or material evidence around to prove it. Elders, if you still do not believe me, why don't you report this to the group of elders and have them send someone down to investigate this matter thoroughly and see if there is anything fishy about it? Xiaoping made his own suggestion. If it really was my fault, then I will take full responsibility for this matter. However, if there were any other factors involved, or if there were some people who had interfered, I believe that the Council of Elders would not let go of those who tried to harm Elder Jacob and the others. They would catch all of them and kill them all to ensure fairness. He smiled and looked at the 3 elders of the mission hall with a threatening look in his eyes. Then, there is no need to make such a big deal out of it. Hearing this, the elder in black felt his hair stand on end. He was sweating profusely, but he quickly laughed it off. What a joke. If this matter was handed over to the group of elders, they would definitely reveal all of their plans. When that happened, it would cause a huge uproar, and who knew how many people would die? First of all, as a near-ancient saint, the mastermind behind Minerva would not be harmed. The only ones who would be harmed would be the small fries who were caught to take the blame. It could be said that this matter could only be buried and not announced. Otherwise, all of them would die. Yes. If an ancient demon appeared, then Jacob and the others did not die in vain. Indeed, this matter should not have much to do with Barty. Also, in terms of strength, there is no way Barty could have killed Jacob and the others. Sigh, Elder Jacob and the others were really unlucky to die at such a young age. What a pity. Isn't that right? However, life is unpredictable. Who knows what will happen? You might choke to death while eating. The words of the 3 mission hall elders immediately removed this matter from Xiaoping's shoulders. They did not plan to pursue this matter any further, lest they brought more trouble upon themselves. After all, even if they continued to pursue the matter, they would not gain anything from it. Instead, they might even report this matter to the elders. At that time, they would probably be in deep trouble. Even if they used to be good friends with Jacob, in the face of disaster, even husband and wife would be separated. Not to mention that they were just swine friends, and Jacob might even die. There was no need for them to bring trouble upon themselves because of a dead person. Now that Jacob and the others were dead, there shouldn't be many people who would pursue the matter. As long as they could shut this kid's mouth, everyone would be safe. As for Minerva's anger, it had nothing to do with them. Xiaoping did not say anything. He merely looked at the 3 elders of the mission hall with a faint smile. Suddenly, the black-clothed elder was extremely embarrassed. He was like a thief who had been caught. He was so arrogant just now, but now he was bowing to this extent. It was really embarrassing. However, he had no choice but to lower his head now. Ahem. How about this, Barty? You've done well in this trial mission, and obtained an excellent result. Everyone can see that, so I'll appoint you as the team leader of the Treasury's guards. You'll be in charge of a team. Here, this is the team leader's token. Tomorrow, you can go directly to the Treasury and take up your post. To shut Xiaoping's mouth, the black-clothed elder took the liberty of putting a team leader's token on Xiaoping, indicating that he was now an official and did not need to be a soldier anymore. When the other illusion people saw this, their intestines turned green with jealousy. They were all people who had just passed the trial, so why were they only able to be guards? That damn Barty, on the other hand, was able to soar to the sky and become a team leader. It did not make sense. However, when they saw the fierce look in the 3 elders' eyes, none of them dared to make a sound. If the elders made things difficult for them, they would not be able to bear the consequences. After that, the 3 elders left with their tails between their legs. They did not dare to stay in the same place. They were afraid that Barty would go crazy and drag them all down with him. They would all die together. At this time, Xiaoping did not care about the others. He left the square, planning to return to Lawrence City. However, just as he left the square, he bumped into Emma at the door. Barty, you're still alive? Love Ma looked at Xiaoping in shock. She had only come to this place because she had a sliver of hope that Barty was still alive. However, she also knew that it was impossible. After all, he had angered Minerva, a near-ancient saint, and ambushed by Jacob and the other elders. There was no way he could escape death. However, when she came to this place, she was shocked to find that Xiaoping was not dead. Even Jacob and the others had disappeared without a trace. They were probably dead. She couldn't believe her own eyes at this moment. Yes, I'm lucky I'm not dead. I'm lucky that the family head gave me a charm. Otherwise, I would have been ambushed by Jacob and the others and died. Xiaoping said. This, Emma did not know what to say. If the family head Sophia had not betrayed Barty, this would not have happened to him. He would not have needed a charm to take revenge. However, she could not say it out loud. Regardless, Barty came back alive. This was the silver lining in the misfortune. It's good that you're back. Don't leave the illusion casually for now. Just stay here and train. It's dangerous outside. Emma looked at Xiaoping seriously. She knew that Minerva was a vicious person who would seek revenge for the smallest grievance. If he could not kill Barty this time, he would definitely calculate the next time. He would not give up until Barty died. Thanks for the reminder. I understand. How about this? I still have something to do. I need to go back and rest. I won't accompany you for now, Xiaoping said to Emma. Okay. Emma understood how tired Barty was. After all, he had gone through a near-death experience. He definitely needed some time to rest. With a whoosh, Xiaoping left the place and returned to his home in Lawrence City. Emma looked at Xiaoping deeply, then turned around and went back to Lawrence Castle. She wanted to go back and report to the family head Sophia that Barty was still alive. Chapter 2176. Lawrence Castle. At this moment, Emma returned to the castle and reported to Sophia that Xiaoping was still alive. What did you just say? Hearing this, Sophia's eyes flashed coldly. Not only did that kid not hate me, he even said that he was very grateful that I gave him a charm, which allowed him to live. Yes, Emma nodded. Barty should be someone we can rope in. He is a person who knows how to repay favors. He doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes. Shut up. He just casually said a few words, and you actually believed him? Sophia laughed coldly. With his intelligence, how could he not know that I had a part in this? It was also because of me that he was in such a desperate situation. Now, he doesn't have any resentment or complaints. Instead, he smiles and says that he is very grateful to me. Do you think I, Sophia, will believe these words? Hearing this, Emma could not help but be stunned. Without a doubt, this kid is being sarcastic. Sophia's eyes flashed coldly. He knows that his strength is far from enough. Even if he is angry, he cannot take revenge. So he endured this and pretended that nothing happened. People like this are very shrewd and know how to endure. It's fine if he is weak, but once he becomes strong enough, he will be a scourge. He is the most terrifying enemy. Waves of murderous intent surged from her body. Master, are you going to kill Barty as well? But he said that he is from the Lawrence family. Emma immediately felt the murderous intent from Sophia permeate the air. Kill him? Sophia immediately laughed. He is just an ant in the returning truth realm. What right does he have for me to kill him? No matter how scheming an ant is, he cannot be compared to a saint. He is far from that. And even if I don't do anything, he offended the ancient Saint Minerva. How long do you think he can live? I think he is very capable, if he can live more than 3 months. He was lucky this time and accidentally met an ancient demon, which allowed him to live. But can he be so lucky a second time? Can he be a third time? She did not care about Barty's anger at all. It was not important to a saint. Instead, she treated this matter as a good show. She wanted to see how long this ant could live. Emma sighed when she heard these words. She could not change the saint's decision. She also felt that Barty's situation boded ill. After all, Barty's enemy was not only Minerva, but Sophia as well. This was especially so for Sophia, who prided herself as a wise person. She hated things that were out of her control. If Minerva could not kill Barty, who knew if Sophia would be able to endure it? However, she was just a small fry, and could not shake the will of a saint. Elsewhere in the illusion realm, in an ancient castle of the Lens family, the castle occupied an extremely large area of 3 million square kilometers, which was equivalent to the land area of a human country. It was enough to support hundreds of millions of people. Therefore, this castle was also incomparably majestic. Rows upon rows of buildings were arranged, and tyrannical restrictive formations were set up everywhere. Even a sage would not be able to force his way through this place. The defense was like an iron wall. This was the place where the ancient Saint Minerva lived. At this moment, some of the Lens spies returned with serious expressions. They reported to Minerva that Xiaoping had safely returned to the illusion realm, and had even taken the opportunity to be promoted to the position of captain of the treasury guards. After reporting this news, the Lens clansmen were all terrified. This time, they had ruined Minerva's plan. No one knew how many people would get on his bad side and die a violent death. Useless! Useless! All of you are useless! As expected, Minerva's face was filled with rage. I gave them a lot of help, even breaking the rules of the elders and helping them secretly. However, they could not kill that brat, and even let him come back alive and kicking. They even promoted him to nobility. What the hell are they doing? They are useless. They should be glad that they are dead now. If they were still alive, I would let them know what it means to live a life worse than death, and what it means to be tortured. Berserk rage radiated from his body, causing the surrounding Lens clansmen to tremble in fear. Their souls trembled, and the entire castle rumbled. Sorry, Lord Patriarch. We are useless. The Lens clansmen knelt on the ground in fear, not daring to raise their heads. Sorry? Do you think a simple apology can erase the failure of this matter? Minerva said angrily. 3 months. I'll only give you 3 months. Think of a way to make Barty disappear from my sight. I don't want to hear any news about him. If you can't do it, it won't be Barty who disappears. It will be you pieces of trash who will disappear from this universe. Do you understand? Endless killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. Yes, Lord Patriarch. None of the Lens clansmen dared to refute. None of them could withstand the fury of a saint. At this moment, they hated Xiaoping to the core. If it weren't for this bastard, they wouldn't have been treated like this and thrown into a crisis of life and death. What are you still doing here? Hurry up and scram. Minerva said coldly. Yes, Lord Patriarch. Hearing this, many of the Lens clansmen felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. Staying next to a furious saint was like staying with a tiger. Their lives were frozen in water. If they weren't careful, they would be killed by the saint's aura. Now that they had a chance to leave, they were all wild with joy. Of course, they didn't dare to show it. They all put on expressions of deep hatred and quickly left the palace. In just a few moments, Minerva was the only one left in the palace. Barty, you little ant. I didn't expect your luck to be so good. You actually ran into a passing demon from the near ancient era. This kind of luck is heaven-defying. Minerva clenched his fists, his eyes flashing coldly. But I want to see if your luck will be this good, and if you can avoid being hunted down again and again. At this point he fell into deep thought. But where did that near ancient era demon come from? Why did it suddenly appear in the Abyss continent? Is it some kind of conspiracy? Or could it be that the Abyss demons can't wait any longer and want to make a move on the illusory? Minerva's eyes flashed coldly. He felt that this was very unusual. The appearance of a near ancient era demon couldn't be that simple. This meant that a storm of blood had begun. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.